right. Good evening and welcome to the Gates County Board of Commissioners and Gates County Board of Education Joint Special Meeting. I'm Emily Truman. I serve as the 2026 Board Chair. I'm joined by Nathan Berryman, Vice Chair of the Board, Commissioner Jonathan Craddock, Commissioner Brian Roundtree, Commissioner Dave Forsyth, County Manager Scott Sauer, County Attorney Pitt Godwin, and Clerk to the Board Renee Draper. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Byram to call his board to order.
Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Tonight I have with me Dr. Williams, our superintendent, who is to my right. Ms. Sally Ryan, who is vice chair. She is participating via Zoom. And then I have Terry Riddick to my left, and then to my left is Ms. JoJo Legg, and to her left is Mr. Danny Haight. And then we have some other people that our staff are included.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll ask Commissioner Craddock if he can provide the invocation and lead the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father God, we come to you all, first of all, to give you thanks. Thank you for this day that you have made, and let us rejoice and be glad. Father God, we ask you to settle down with us tonight as we conduct county business. Father God, may we all keep open minds. Father God, let's do the best work we can for Gates County and its constituents. We ask these things in your name, the name above all names, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. So now we're going to go into the approval of agenda for the Board of Commissioners. We're going to ask for any amendments or motions to approve.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we add public comments to the beginning of the session.
Okay.
I second that.
All right. So we have a motion and a second to add public comment to the beginning of the agenda before discussion. All right. We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on our board? And if not, all in favor? That is unanimous. All right. And we will turn it over to the Board of Education for their.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Truman. Dear board members, before you is an agenda for the time, but we need to add public comments to it, and I'd like to amend that to make public comments as the beginning, just like the commissioners have also done. And since we have amended it, do I have a motion to accept the amended agenda?
Make a motion that we accept the amended agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second the motion.
I have a motion to approve the amended agenda and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
All right. Actually, if I may, we missed a step. We voted to amend the agenda. We did not vote to approve the agenda as amended. So if we could get a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
All right. And all in favor? Now we're good and unanimous. Okay. Did you need to do anything? You said, was that later with you needed to vote on that?
Yes. Okay, board members, I have a statement I'd like to read to you tonight because we are going to take some action on voting tonight, and it's the ethics statement. Board members are reminded that it's our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of this board. Does any member of the board know of any conflict of interest or any appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before us at this meeting? If so, please state them for the record. If during the course of the meeting you become aware of any actual or apparent conflict of interest, please bring the matter to my attention. It will then be your duty to abstain from participating in discussion on this matter and also from voting on this matter. Board members, do you have any? Okay. All right. Moving along. Okay, board members, you have in front of you a new planning budget resolution, and just to keep the commissioners abreast of what's going on, we voted on this Monday night, but we have since changed a few other dollars. So we would like to amend that motion and approve an amended planning budget resolution. In front of you, you have $3.163 million, not counting the fines and forfeits for the county. We're asking to cover the expenses for local funding for the year July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. And then you have in section 3, which is capital outlay, and we're asking for 561,695.47, which is a breakdown of school bus appropriation, 261,000, and county appropriation of 300,000, giving you a total of 561,695.47. I do not believe there was any changes to that one, but it was to the first one. And then you'll have section 5, section 6, section 8, and then you'll have the state appropriations. You also have the federal appropriation, which is section 9, section 11, which is child nutrition, $1,200,000, giving a grand total of planning budget resolution of $21,853,742.07. Board members, you've heard this difference. I think it's like maybe $100,000 less than what we had originally voted on. So what's the pleasure of the board on voting on an amended plan and budget resolution?
I'm good, I'm just looking at stuff.
Okay, take your time.
That's gonna be this.
Where did it come from, the reduction? Did it come under instructions?
It came under support.
Out of support, okay.
When I say support, that would be for any teacher requests. We're not asking for any teacher requests.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the planning budget resolution, the amended.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve the amended planning budget resolution that has been presented this day, April 29th, 2026. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so was that the part that you had? Okay, because we'll add the public comment then before we go into the discussion,
Right.
if that's all right. Okay, so I guess we didn't have a sign-up sheet because we just added it to public comment. But if anyone here would like to make a comment to address the boards, you are welcome. It will be a 5-minute comment period. Just come to the podium, state your name and voting district. And if there are none, okay, yeah. It's the beginning, yeah. So up to the podium here, yeah. You might have to walk around. Here we go.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners, Board of Education. My name is Josh Miller. I'm from the Gates Voting District. I just come up here to say I'm glad to see both boards working together. So that's about it. Thank y'all.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. There were any other comments? Okay. All right, so now we will turn it over to the discussion for the budget presentation. If Mr.
Okay,
Brown.
tonight before you, you should have 2 documents.
I forgot to.
One is a planning resolution of 2027, and then you should also have a PowerPoint presentation that looks identical to this.
Okay.
And Dr. Williams, I'm going to turn the floor over to you and let you start with what our budget needs are for the fiscal year, July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good evening. We're here to present our budget plan for the fiscal year 2026, 2027, and we look forward to a productive conversation about the future of our students. Before we dive into numbers, I would to briefly like to walk through the legal framework that governs how we build and submit our budget and our budget under North Carolina General Statute. The superintendent prepares and submits the budget, the board reviews and approves it, and then it comes before you, the county commissioners, for the appropriation decision. We are here tonight at this critical step in the process. I've been asked several times, what's the difference between a planning resolution and a budget resolution? And so I've added that in the PowerPoint that you should have in front of you. A planning resolution establishes our policy direction, long-range intentions. It signals where we're headed as a district. And as we navigate declining enrollment and school consolidation, being deliberate and forward-looking into our planning is more important than ever. Tonight's presentation reflects that kind of intentional strategic thinking. In a budget resolution, unlike a planning resolution, the budget resolution is legally binding. It is a formal instrument that authorizes every dollar we spend for the fiscal year under General Statute 115C 425. It carries the force of law for our district's financial operations, and we take that responsibility seriously. Every request you see tonight is grounded in that legal and fiscal accountability. I have up on the presentation, I've juxtaposed the planning and the budget resolution. We have a comparison here. And this slide just summarizes the key distinctions between a planning resolution and a budget resolution. One guides our intentions, the other governs our spending. Understanding this difference helps clarify why the budget resolution we're asking you to fund tonight is not advisory. It is the legal foundation for educating every child in Gates County. Everything we do, every budget decision, every staffing choice, every capital request flows from our commitment to students. Our vision is to promote achievement through teaching, engaging, and helping students become successful. Our vision is to promote that achievement and guide our values through humility, excellence, and respect. And I ask that you keep those children at the center of every conversation that we have tonight. Personnel is our single greatest investment, and it represents our greatest responsibility. The people in our classrooms and hallways are the reason Gates County school students succeed. And if needed, after the presentation, Dr. Jordan can provide any specifics of the staffing picture for 2026-2027. Our school demographics, our current enrollment across all 5 schools in the district totals about 1,292 students. And you will notice that our numbers reflect the reality of a small rural district. And our staffing ratios are carefully calibrated to meet both instructional and EC needs. EC needs students with disabilities. These are the children and staff we are budgeting for. Our projected class size at T.S. Cooper and Gatesville Elementary are as shown. These are the projected class size for T.S. Cooper and Gatesville for 26-27 school year. As you can see, classes are running near or at capacity in several grade levels, which directly informs our staffing requests. Maintaining reasonable class sizes is essential to student achievement and teacher effectiveness. Now I'll turn over to the financial aspect and the details of our budget request for the fiscal year 26-27. And Mr. Stephen Harrell, our CFO, I call him Chief Figure It Out Officer, he can provide any specifics about both what we are asking for and why. And our goal, remember, is full funding that allows us to continue delivering quality education without interruption. The budget is a planning document, and changes may occur based on personnel decisions, state and federal funding levels, enrollment shifts, and employee benefit packages. We have built in our best projections, but we want you to have full transparency about the variables that could affect the final figures. Looking at our local budget by department, our total local budget request for 26-27 is $3,198,000. Maintenance represents the largest share at 41%, reflecting the ongoing and urgent infrastructure needs across our aging facilities. Curriculum and instruction at 15% represents our core instructional investment, and every other category reflects the minimum necessary to operate a safe, functional school system. The local purpose code budget, this slide breaks out local budget down by purpose code, which gives more granular view of how every dollar is allocated. You will notice that maintenance services at 25% and public utility and energy services at 15% together consume 40 cents of every local dollar, a reflection of aging buildings and rising utility costs. Special population services at 12% speaks to our commitment to serving every student, including those with exceptional needs. Our capital outlay chart budget of $300,000 focuses on the most critical needs across the district. District Chromebooks represents the largest share at 34%, ensuring students have the technology they need to learn. The remaining funds address urgent facility needs, including HVAC replacement at Central Middle School at 25%, a wastewater pump station at Gates County High School at 11%, asphalt overlay at T.S. Cooper at 13%, and smaller but important projects including playground repairs, a storage building, district painting, and a basketball goal at Gatesville Elementary. Our state purpose budget slide, this right here, this is our total state allocation for the 2026-2027 school year, and it's projected at $14,889,215. The vast majority, which is around 79%, is directed to instructional services, which is exactly where state dollars should go. System-wide support services account for about 21%, covering the operational backbone that keeps our schools running. Our federal budget for the 26-27 school year is around $913,446, with 85% directed to instructional services. These funds are critical to serving our most vulnerable student population, including students with disabilities and economically disadvantaged students. We are committed to using every federal dollar with fidelity to its intended purpose. Local Fund 8 totals $1,100,307.60, with 78% of that dedicated to instructional services. This fund supports supplemental programs and services that go beyond the base state and local allocations. It is an important component of our overall financial picture and reflects our commitment to wrapping every available resource around their students. Looking at child nutrition, our child nutrition budget projects about $1,200,000 in revenue, with salary expenses of $630,900 and operating expenses around $569,100. This program is essential, self-sustaining, and we are proud that our cafeteria staff continue to provide nutritious meals to our students each and every day. Healthy students are better learners, and this investment pays real dividends in the classroom. Additional funding requests. In addition to our base budget, we're requesting $360,000 in additional funding across three priorities. $150,000 for child nutrition, $80,000 for technology, and $130,000 for exceptional children's services. These requests reflect areas where we are experiencing cost pressures that our current allocations cannot fully absorb. We believe these investments are essential to maintaining program quality and legal compliance. In the capital outlay, beyond our standard capital appropriations of $200,000, we are requesting an additional $100,000 to address the most pressing needs identified in our capital planning process. We are grateful for the majority of facility upgrades completed last summer through our needs-based public school capital fund grants. But the ongoing demands of technology and maintenance require continued investment. So for some detail, the total capital outlay request of $300,000 is divided between $200,000 for maintenance and facilities and $100,000 for technology. These are not wish list items. They are critical needs that directly impact the safety, the functionality, and the learning environment of our schools. The capital outlay category 1, maintenance, the $200,000 in maintenance and facilities funding will address two priority areas: parking lot renovations and HVAC replacement. These are safety and operational necessities that we can no longer defer. Mr. Green can speak to the specific locations and urgency of these projects if you have questions. Our capital outlay 2, the $100,000 technology request, will fund computer lab upgrades at the middle and high schools, laptop replacement for teachers and staff, and Chromebook replacement for students. Access to functional, up-to-date technology is no longer optional. It's a foundation to teaching and learning in today's classroom. As we move forward with elementary school consolidation, there are one-time costs associated with the transition totaling $325,600. The largest share of $200,000 covers parking lot and freezer infrastructure at the receiving school. While consolidation is intended to generate long-term savings, we want to be transparent that the transition itself requires upfront investment. There are factors that could put a lot of pressure on us in this budget before the year is out, such as charter school enrollment growth, a declining ADM, out-of-district transfers, rising EC expenditures, and increases in retirement, hospitalization, and utility rates. Those are all variables outside our direct control, and we are watching each one of these closely and will manage them productively. Looking ahead, we are reducing positions through natural attrition wherever possible, and will consider a reduction in force only and if only necessary. Containing rising exceptional children costs will also be a priority focus for our future budget planning cycles. Our goal is a sustainable district, one that lives within its means while never compromising on student outcomes. So the bottom line, consolidation is not a quick fix. The full financial impact will take 2 or 3 years to materialize, and it requires your continued support through the transition. Our budget request is not just a financial document, it's an investment in our children of Gates County and in the future of this community. Thank you so much for your time and your commitment to the public education in Gates County Schools. Now, if you have any questions, I've got a brand new school board, and I have Mr.
Right.
Steve Harold, Dr. Jordan, Mr. Smith, Mr. Green, Dr. Simpson, and anybody else, curriculum, and Mr. Wyndham available
Okay.
to answer any questions.
We appreciate it. Before we go into questions, I do know some of the board members had comments to make, and I was going to make earlier with our going off thing. I'm going to open it for comments that wanted to come from the board, if you don't mind me starting down here.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
start.
I just want to say up front, I know this is a difficult time for the whole community, the school system especially, and I want to acknowledge the elected officials that are sitting across me and beside me and the work y'all have done. It's sure it's not just the rumor mill talking about how much effort y'all have put into this, and that's greatly appreciated that y'all are elected officials. You donate your time and all the effort of trying to go through and evaluate and us look at the tough things we're going through. I want to acknowledge that up front because I think there'll be some difficult comments made. The hardest discussions where people disagree are the most necessary and critical times. And I think we're about to engage in some of that. But I want to first thank y'all for the effort y'all have done. And same thing for my fellow board members here. I know we've had a lot of interest in what's going on, try to do as much of our homework as we can to be prepared for this. So I just want to acknowledge that up front and thank y'all again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Roundtree.
Yes. I want to say that it's an honor to be here working with the Board of Education. I look forward to working with all of you for the effort of making sure that we are fiscally sound. Looking forward to working with the CFO, the superintendent, and my fellow colleagues. Because when it comes to our education for our kids, we must make sure the resources are available and we must make sure that we're good stewards of the money that we have. So I'm glad that it's going to start off positive and it's going to continue to be positive. And like my colleague said, yes, we're going to disagree. But the goal is to make sure that our kids have all the necessary tools and the resources that we can provide and we're fiscally sound for what we do with the money and manage it well.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to also tell the board, the school board, that we really appreciate your hard work. You know, we all heard the stories this week as far as the long hours that y'all put into your board meeting. So hopefully this one doesn't take that long.
We will not be having breakfast.
No, we won't be having breakfast here, so just want to let y'all know that. But again, thank y'all very much for your hard work. Appreciate the time and effort that y'all have put into it. We realize that this board is only really about a month old, and y'all are having to drink from a fire hose right now. So I really, and especially right at budget season for the school, I can only imagine all the numbers that's going through everybody's head at this point in time. So thank you very much for your time and your effort putting all this together. And you know, like I said earlier, I do understand that there's going to be some additional monies needed to help close one of the schools, and that was a big step in the right direction for the school board. We wanted to applaud y'all for making the tough decision that needed to be made at that point in time, but it's about the future and where we move from here and how we continue to support our kids, given the education that they deserve and need. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Craddock, do you have any?
There's nothing else left to say. So I did something that jumped out in my mind. Yeah, thank you for everything y'all are doing, of course. Just like all my other commissioner colleagues said, but an investment, it's, you know, that just popped out in my mind. It is an investment. Our children are the future of the county. Quite a few of us sitting on this board graduated from the schools and had kids graduate from the schools. It is an investment. It's got to be a wise investment because we got to look out for our kids, but we got to look out for our constituents as well. Our constituents are the ones that fund the local match. So there's a fine line in there. We'll be able to find it. I know we will. We always do. We might not agree on everything, but we can do it in the right manner. So thank y'all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And I'll just go off of what all of them said and just agree. Thank you. The hard work that goes in. I was floored, and I'm going to mention for those that don't know that this group met for 14 hours on Monday. They put in
Straight.
more work than I ever have in one day for this. So 14 straight hours on Monday. That's the joke of we will not be having breakfast here. We're not staying 14 hours tonight. But no, I agree with the children's best interest and just keeping in mind that, you know, fiscal responsibility is also in the best interest of the kids. So now with that, we had the budget presentation, and I know we all have lots of questions. And I'm going to go from my board and just kind of kick off. And I'm one that likes to work from the front to the back, so maybe I'm out of order here, like with where y'all's questions might be. But at the beginning of the budget presentation, it went over some of the general statutes. I love general statutes. I'm a general statute nerd. And just wanted to point out some things that were there. And also, I know that it's an evolving board, it's changing board, the processes that go. I know with the general statute 115C, is that, no, I'm sorry, yeah, 115C, 428A, and the opportunity to have the public hearing for the public to have their input on these things is incredibly important, just for transparency and for community input. But also want to point out, going down in 115C 429, this is going to be a tough budget year. There's a lot of compromises I think we're going to have to make on both sides to move into things. But 429 has more parts than A and B, and I want to put out there that many of our questions tonight might stem from questions that have already been received in the past couple of weeks, the past week, I believe, in regard to a public records request. And it does give us the authority to ask for those questions in 429C, and it does have the duty to have this information made available to our board. So these questions have been submitted well over a week ago now, a week and a half ago. So a lot of these questions are going to be brought up throughout the evening, and we do hope that we have some answers for some of these as they have had time to be prepared for. And then before we move, I'm going to say before we move on to through the general statutes and past that, I have an upfront question that I just am curious. What was our ADM on the first day of the school, and what is it right now
That would be a question
for this school year?
yeah.
Because I'm just looking at numbers, because that's going to stem into a question I have about state funding later, if we know what the ADM was at the beginning of the school year and what we currently are at.
So, if you don't mind, I asked the same question. I think it's 1473 is what we started the year out.
Okay.
I asked this question about a couple of weeks ago, and I think we're around 1440 right now. That's, in other words,
Okay.
present every day. But of course, we had some December graduates that went out, so they're not.
So that's included in that number with that, okay.
But the 1373, yeah. The state projection for us this coming up year is 1323, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So they're predicting a 50 student loss. DPI does that for you. So 1373 to 1323 is a projection.
Okay.
So therefore, when you get your state budget, they project it on their projection. So everything you see in the state
Yeah.
is based on if we hold 1,323 students the first 2 months of the new fiscal year.
Okay, and if you come in above that, will they adjust their number or no?
Correct. That's
Yeah,
my-
we'll look to the middle of October.
Up until the middle of October, they will adjust. Just out of curiosity, I was trying to make sure we all understood how that worked. Okay, I'm going to hold back on some of my other questions for the moment and turn it over to the board.
I got a general one just to
Okay.
get started.
Yeah.
Obviously, lots of regulations, lots of guidance follows this. One of the things I went ahead and looked at a while ago was the school closing procedures. And it literally says in there that, there's intended to be that the administration will submit a summary of school closings that will include number of personnel to be reduced with the closing of that school, the amount of utilities to be saved for the year, maintenance repair costs for the year, custodial costs for the year, transportation costs for the year, and insurance costs. So that report should have been generated already, and I'd like to see that. I think that's part of this. It's a requirement of the school closing procedures that the school generates
I don't think it has to
that.
be generated until we send up that the school has been closed. Technically, Buckland has not closed until the last.
Well, this is an analysis. It says during the analysis
Right.
analysis before the school ever closes. So I just think that's going to be critical for us trying to assess a budget without knowing a summary of those details that you guys have gone through and looked at and said, hey, here's how much our electric bills are, and if we're not powering up that building. All that kind of stuff has to be part of that discussion. Because quite frankly, those are where the savings are going to be. And for me, that's kind of a generalized question that I'm very interested in understanding and knowing. That's like the first thing I thought, if that's been produced, I'd love to see that before I go through and plan on making any vote and decision on the whole thing, to see some validation of those numbers. So I'll just ask that one thing to start with. Anybody else has a?
Yeah, does anybody have any general questions to get out the way? Okay. All right. So working through then with the budget and the, we also have the planning budget resolution here, so we will start
Can I
diving
jump
into.
in with another general
I was
one
going to
then?
say we can dive in, yeah.
Kind of another general one is obviously in 2021, you did a facilities needs assessment. Now you're doing a 2026 needs assessment. Has that been done? Have y'all got even a draft of that done? Was there a submission date when that should be done that says what your facilities needs are? And that's, again, one of those cookbook recipes of here's how you evaluate your facilities, you know, number of students per classroom, et cetera, et cetera. I'd love to see the state, I mean, I pulled up and looked at and have a copy of the 2021 one, but it looks like according to what DCPI says, we should be submitting our most current one right now, 5-year
It
plan.
is a 5-year plan.
So, I mean, that's another one of those things that would help us tremendously if you guys show that here's your idea and justification of numbers. Okay.
Yep. No, you're great. All right. So we're going to go down with some budget questions then that I think, need clarification on certain points on. Commissioner Berryman, do you have any that you want to kick off with?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick things off. Dr. Williams, good to see you.
Seeing you, sir.
It's been a little while. So, I'd like to kind of go back a little bit to probably a year ago now when we first all sat here and talked and where we were with the budgets and all that. I think that if you were to come to us with a budget that looks like this at this point, because good job of putting it together as far as the detail and those type of things like that. I think that it breaks it down enough where we have a little bit better understanding as far as the numbers and where and how and all that kind of good stuff. It gives us the ability to ask questions of some of these numbers that's in here. So looking forward to those type of discussions and where we're going to go with that. So as far as when we first had that conversation in our first budget, when this new board here got with the school board at that point in time and with you, Dr. Williams, I asked at that point in time, and I think Mr. Harrell was the one that was doing the presentation of the budget at that point in time, where is it that we are looking for a reduction in cost at within the budgets as far as the school goes? I see a lot of information in here, and last year we funded 2.9 million is what it ended up being, with a little bit more. And this year we're at 3.1. We're closing the school, and I understand that there's some expenses to go in with closing the school and all that, but what are we doing as far as the additional costs and savings and those type of things like that will be realized this year? Are we budgeting for some of those additional savings that's going to be realized this year?
Yeah, Mr., I want to defer that question to Mr. Harrell. Mr. Harrell? I think he can provide a better.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, Dr. Wood, can you just turn that mic towards you just a little bit so those at home can pick it up? Because since there's nobody in that other chair. Thank you.
Before Mr. Harrell comes up, I believe the general statute states that the school board is supposed to present to the commissioners by May 15th. What is your date that you're planning on doing so that we can abreast us, so that we can generate the information you're requesting back in time?
So we are going to have the general introduction of our budget to us at the 1st of May. We are hoping to adopt the budget completely in May because we feel it's not fair to staff to go into June and have them not know July 1 what they're going to have. So we're looking to very soon after May 15th. We understand this is a new board that y'all will probably need until May 15th to present the final thing. We probably have a lot of work sessions between us and between y'all and possibly jointly that need to happen. But I do think that grace is there for the May 15th. I know we were pushing for earlier, but we know that you guys need this time and you're putting in the work. The goal is just that we have the overall budget approved in the month of May for the county, meaning and including what we're supplying to the Board of Education. So.
Yeah, but and honestly, Dr. Williams, I would think that you being the leader of the school system, that you would know your budget. So do you not know as far as what cost-saving measures that we're trying to put in place at this
Well, yeah,
point in
but I
time?
would like to have my CFO.
Yep, but I asked you.
So what are you asking?
I'm asking you to tell me and this board,
Yeah.
what is the cost savings measures that y'all are employing as a relation from last year's budget to this year's budget?
Okay, so we're looking at a reduction in force, if we have to cost save.
How much money are you planning on in reduction in force at this time?
We're still having conversations with the school board.
So how are you presenting us a budget at this point in time if you're still having conversations as far as what you're planning on saving? Do you not have a generality about what you're planning on saving?
Not at this time,
Okay.
because we still have to have conversations with the Board of Education.
So then why are we having this meeting tonight?
Well, you called this meeting.
Because you were supposed to have a budget ready for us at this point in time. We've asked you for a long time to give us this. You've had a long time to work on it. We expect you to have one. And I think this county is owed it.
I'll concur with that. That's why I was getting at to start with that summary of evaluation that should have been done. I mean, that's long overdue. I tell people all the time, I hate when somebody rushing in and telling me, hey, you got to approve this shit. It's last second, we got to get it done. And I feel like we're getting
Yeah.
bum rushed, as they call it. And I got to agree with Commissioner Berryman. I feel like this is stuff that should have been done. We should be hearing right now, X number of positions are going to be saved because, I mean, let's face it, if you have 5 schools, you reduce one,
Yeah.
that's a 20% reduction in facilities and potentially staff. I know that it takes some time, and according to what I read online, you should give it at least a year to a year and a half, not 2 to 3 years for that reduction to be, savings to be realized. But I mean, for me, I'm looking at, and if you're trying to say, we don't want just the same amount of money for only 4 schools now, but we want extra, I would be looking for you to say, here's the things, extra cost, as this summary requires, that we're going to spend this year. And then after this year, those costs are going to go away and the budget will potentially decrease. And I don't see any indication whatsoever, anything whatsoever that shows me that a school is being closed or is even being considered being closed.
My question goes with as far as the RIF, like you guys are asking, wasn't there a RIF that was voted on by this board that was going to happen prior to even the decision of the school that was going to be closed? So shouldn't those numbers be included in this as was already voted on by the board? Because I don't see those reflected. And if there's a reason just to, because we haven't been at your meetings, they're not all recorded and online that we can catch up. So if there's a reason that that RIF that was voted on by the Board of Education earlier this year is not happening, why is that not happening?
So Monday, we had a board meeting. And the board meeting started at 9 o'clock, and it was over 11 o'clock.
Yep.
The Board of Education was presented options. Option 1, option 2, option 3
Right.
of money that we could save or avoid from losing, is what Mr. Hale likes to refer to. And so all those conversations that we had are closed session personnel conversations. As far as reductions or it's a classroom teacher, a media specialist, all this information was presented at our informational sessions when we were talking about consolidation. So we're still having those discussions, and I'm sorry that I can't provide something with you that the board hasn't given me the go, because by law, the Board of Education has to give me the word to know, or to, it's criteria. There's 6 criteria that we have to vote upon, or the board does, to determine how we're going to, if there is a reduction in force, such as how many years you've been in the district, what's your licensure status, on and on and on. So when the Board of Education gives me that, I can tell you exactly how much savings we're going to have. But I can't tell you that until the Board of Education gives me the word to go.
So
Do they have that information? Because I know last year when we had budget talks, we also had the conversations about certified teachers and the different staffs that we had in place, the number of people that we had that were doing long-term subs as positions and those type positions. Do they already have that information? Because that should be ongoing from last year.
They have all that information.
Okay, so,
Some of the information has been produced, and some of the information we're still on hold. Some of the information will be changed, just like our budget changed several times in the last 3 weeks. So whether we choose option 1, 2, or 3 is really going to be the part where it will determine what the items are that are being saved for the county. My question to you is how far in advance did you, as the commissioners, decide that you wanted to move up the presentation of the presentation I mean, how long have y'all known?
Well, we said during our budget meetings last year, again, when we met last year, that we would be going earlier this year, that we wanted to have an approved budget in May. We started that language last year. So it's been pretty common knowledge since
But
then.
was that information?
It was said in a joint meeting between us that we were moving earlier.
Was it sent like, and an information for us to?
I know it was sent at least a few months ago, at least a couple of months ago, that there was a request
I know it was
sent.
sent a couple months ago. I'm
Okay.
aware of that.
But, I mean, I know for us, and hopefully for you all, as soon as your budget finishes, you're working on the next budget, because
But keep
budgets
in
are
mind,
consistent.
We're on this side of the board, you're on that side of the board, and we're over here on this side making a whole lot more decisions. We have 350 employees, how many do you have?
I don't think
Well,
really
sir,
matters.
if I may, hold on, hold
We have a lot
on.
of work that has to be done.
Sir, I understand that. I'm also going to call this out here with the general statute. We're going to go with B, 115C 429B. The Board of County Commissioners shall complete its action on the school budget on or before July 1, or such later date as may be agreeable to the Board of Education. The Commissioners shall determine the amount of county revenues to be appropriated in the county budget ordinance to the local school administration unit for the budget year. The Board of County Commissioners may, in its discretion, allocate part or all of its appropriation by purpose, function, or project as defined in the uniform budget format. That there says that we can somewhat, not line item, but we can pull out things. We can ask for more detail. We can
I'm not
ask for those
arguing
things so that we can allocate funding by purpose, function, or project as we see fit, because we have questions about misuse or misappropriation of different things over the past few years. Because in the past 3 years, starting in 2023, we've had repeatedly had the Board of Education come to us with various financial concerns, starting with that money that we had to give out of the capital outlay in 2023, and the most recent with the daycare, which was incredibly concerning with how it came about and was presented. So we are asking questions that we need. I understand you're doing work. We owe our constituents due diligence in this as
We
well.
on this side are
I
trying to build a
understand.
better rapport with your side, but you're here on that side attacking us.
We
and
are
making us
asking for
feel
things
bad.
that have
That's
been
what I
asked
see.
for before.
If I
These
could,
have
I'd
been
just
asked
say,
for,
I don't
and then
think
we
it's
last year.
intact for us to ask for work that should be normal due diligence.
Yeah.
This,
I agree
again,
with
this
you.
report, if your superintendent's telling you, you got to vote to tell him to do this report, he needs to go. And I'd ask for that tonight. He needs to go. If he literally has to have you vote to tell him to fill out and give you the expected cost savings for closing the school, that is ludicrous. That is beyond any logical concern of anybody can have in their brain. That's a standard thing. Y'all supposedly know your code, you know your instructions. It clearly says this is a requirement. Y'all voted to close the school, 2 months ago? That was when you voted. Before then, you knew you were going to close the school. Last year, we authorized $50,000 for y'all to do a study. Y'all came in and demanded an apology from us because we referred to $50,000 because you only spent $35,000, but it's what you asked for. We approved $50,000. We apologize for misspeaking for that. But you've known you were going to close the school since that study was done, which I've never seen, but I heard the results of, got it. So that's been known for a long time. So not doing this evaluation, the most basic part of this closure that we've known about for 6 months or more, and being told that I have to have you vote to tell him to do that, y'all guys you've got your eyes closed if you're accepting that as an explanation from that guy.
You know, if we're here to attack someone.
Well, no, you're
personally,
sitting there telling us everything's an
That is
attack.
between us and our board. It is
You're
not.
right. You're right,
Okay?
it is.
So is that your recipe on how to make sausage?
Yeah, it is. It actually
Okay.
is. Yeah, it is. For the person that thinks it's our
So
job.
we are
Gentlemen,
going to
let's
go
have decorum.
we are going to go into some budget questions then. If we have specific things, we're saying we have this in front of us, let's ask line item questions one by one and have them explained, because that's what we're here for, right? All right. So going into, try to figure out which packet I'm in here.
So in the staff supplements. it
And this
says
here.
One line item in here for $233,000. Can you explain that line item a little bit more?
Yeah.
I'm not asking your staff, I'm asking you. And if you can't answer this, then why is it that you're the superintendent of this school system?
All right.
Can I make a comment? Let me make a comment here. Yeah, I think you need to pause right here of what is happening. If you got comments or if you got questions, reduce your comments in writing to my Board of Education, and we'll get those questions answered to you immediately.
We did last
But the-
week.
We've
but
been
the
doing this
purpose-
for a year and a half, just so you know.
But what is the purpose of this meeting?
To get the information that we've been asking for a year and a half in
You've been
print. We haven't
MIA
had it
for over a
received.
year.
We haven't had it returned to us with what has been requested in writing. So we're asking for that information to be presented to us so that we can look at this and make decisions on our side on whether we can fund $3.198 million or not based on the justifications. There has to be a justification for a request in funding. Those justifications should be known before you come with a presentation. Those justifications should be known before you present it to your board, to come to us and present it to our board. And that's all we're asking for, so that we can go forward with the knowledge that we need, because we have had various questions that have been submitted in the past year and a half that have just not been asked, or not been answered. So we're asking for that information. You say if we submit it, that it will be returned to us, but it's not. So we're asking for the information that has already been requested. So hopefully, it's of knowledge already.
Well, I'm going to say something before you do, Dr. Williams. I believe I wrote you, Mrs. Truman, Madam Truman, and to Mr. Sauer saying that I acknowledge receiving the 5 requested public request knowledge, and that we could not give them to you tonight, but we would do so by the 1st of May. Did you not receive that email?
My question is, though, we're talking about stuff going back a year and a half, not just this. We've asked some of these questions.
You didn't ask those questions a year and a half.
We have been asking, certified teacher questions have been coming up since at
Yeah.
least last budget
yeah.
season. We have been asking these questions in writing and in joint meetings. These questions have come to the surface. None of this is new information. The only thing new are what we're going through and saying, can you tell us what this is for staff supplements? That's new. The other questions that we've asked are things that we have presented previously.
So really, our meeting that we had in January between you, Madam Chair, and you, Mr. Vice Chair, and me, Mr. Yu, County Manager, between myself and Ms. Ryan, well, they were wasted meetings.
Mr. Byron, I just want to go off and say, this is not directed at your board. We're saying that you should have this information as well.
We should have those
Yeah.
information. We should.
But it's not being requested by you, and they're not being held accountable by that, and we have to have this information to move forward to do our part. So we're asking for accountability and justifications for these requests.
If you were asked to close the school, and we were on this side over here, could you be able to answer those questions in the timely manner you've given?
I would be spending hours every day to learn this information, so I could, yes, sir,
Okay, thank you.
because it's important. Especially if it's my job. The question, though, $272,500 for staff supplements, can that be broken down more into what that is? And I don't care who answers, just an answer.
I'm going to ask for a break, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Board members, if that's okay with you?
Motion to recess?
Yes.
All right, if you do your board, we'll do ours.
I'll make a motion to recess.
Make a motion, one. Accept it.
Well, we have the second. All in favor for recess? All right, 10, how much longer do you need? 5, 10, 15?
5 minutes.
5-minute recess.
Board member, is that okay with y'all? Okay, got a motion?
I'll make a motion to go
Okay,
into recess.
have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Were you able to get Ms. Ryan back on?
I'm on.
Okay. Hey, Ms. Ryan.
Are we good? Okay. All right, if we
Okay,
get a motion
we're
to come
back.
out of closed session, or out of recess, I'm sorry, not closed session. Phew.
I make a motion to come out of recess.
Okay,
I'll second.
I make a motion to
All right.
recess hours.
Okay.
all in favor? Okay, cool. We are back in session. All right.
We're ready to go back.
Yep, 272,500 for staff supplements. Can we just have a breakdown on what that means?
Those are staff supplements for all employees who get staff supplements, but the benefits that are included in that number as well. That would be FICA and retirement
For all staff?
for all the staff that get supplements, yes.
Can you turn the mic over?
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I had him turn it earlier when we didn't have anybody in the chair. Yep, thank you.
Did you hear what I said?
I did. Would you mind repeating it just so it can be picked up on audio?
Yes, there are staff supplements for all staff that receive supplements, but they include FICA and retirement in that number as well.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so-
Okay.
As far as, like, I mean, what would be like the largest piece of that?
When you say largest piece, give me some details of what you mean.
As far as, all right, so you have FICA, all right, so,
FICA 7.65, and retirements this year is 24.67% on top of what your supplement would be.
as
Okay.
a percentage, what would be the wages that's coming out of this?
We have fixed supplements at $1,100 and $800 for administrators.
Okay, all right, that's what I was kind of interested.
So-
Can I ask a question,
If
make
I
sure I
could
understand that?
clarify
If supplements, for that thing, does that include supplements, stipends, all that kind of additional funds paid, or is that?
It's just a supplement, like the $1,100 and the $800.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of trying to understand, as far as like the supplements that go to the teachers and those type of things.
Correct, yes, sir. And this is not the state supplement that the teachers receive on the state side, that they receive twice a year. This is their yearly supplement. They receive that twice a year too, but it's one.
Okay. And I guess, like I said, we just go page by page. Were there any other questions with that particular subset?
So are we going through this, or are we going through the presentation? Because I got some in both.
I'm in this right now, but I was just gonna say, if we tried to
Okay.
stay together, it would be easier for all of us to navigate page by page as we go.
Okay.
So if we want to work through this and then work through the others.
Which one are you
So
working through?
we are working through this,
Okay.
and we are on the local budget. Okay.
Gotcha.
I know it's a lot of paper, I'm sorry. I just thought it would get us all on the same page if we just went through it like that,
It's
okay?
easier for us to all
Yeah,
be looking at the same thing.
100%. Okay, so the local budget,
So talking about that 272 staff supplements, what I'm trying to get at is in the following sheets, then there's stipends for various people. And I'm trying to figure out in this summary, is
Is
the
that
stipends
stipend?
included in that 272? So the stipends paid are above and beyond that. So in here,
That would be like an additional duty stipend. They're a little bit different.
okay.
so there's no
Supplement-
stipends included in the supplement.
No.
Okay.
They're separate.
So
Okay.
where does it appear in this listing here then?
And I just want to apologize, I know you got this just a few hours before.
Yeah,
So when you're looking at this, it's the summary page.
Yeah.
yep.
It just happens to be if you go a couple pages down. So
Yeah.
let's jump to that, the one that you asked.
Which one?
We are on student services, is that correct? Where are we
Yeah.
at? Student services, top.
But he asked you at 272, so I'm going to go to that.
Oh, staff
Hold on, give me-
supplements, I'm sorry. We'll skip student services, go to staff supplements,
I
which is the
call this
next
the
page.
Batman Dakota ring that you have to figure out. We need to get it into a better language for everybody to understand. So
Okay, we
what
see,
you're saying, when you look at 5110, that is teachers. So we're going to pay, of the 272,000, 233,000 goes to teachers. 5110 is teachers.
okay,
5210, I believe, is
EC.
what?
It's
Instructional.
Instruction. ECT.
So we need to get into better language.
okay,
But to answer Nathan's question, the key to it is the 5110 is teachers, 5210 is instruction. So this is the allotment we set aside for the $1,100 per teacher, but you have to break it out in categories.
okay,
But when we pay $1,100, we have to pay the FICA and the retirement that adds on to that. So
okay.
is that a
So
better question?
just
than
want to
that?
make sure that that had no stipends included in the supplement, so,
No.
okay.
Now, that goes to Ms. Forsythe's question, now you're backing up to the stipend.
I'm trying to get, yeah, they're all extra monies being added on. I'm trying to see
Right.
where we see that is.
Before we jump pages, what's 5310 and
5810.
5810?
I got my Dakota book.
The handy dandy Dakota book?
You're talking about the 17,000?
Well, yeah, as far as
Yeah.
just like, what are we?
Okay,
5810 would be like guidance,
Okay.
and 5310 would be, this might reflect from my memory. What have you got, Mr. Hale?
5810.
No, I was, real quick, like, what's the funding per pupil for the student, per student? Do y'all know?
Stateside, it is just over $10,000.
What about county side? Even on, it's around 2,000?
1,800?
For the county,
Yeah.
it's right around 2,000, I believe.
Around 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
yeah, I'll tell you what it is, at least the projected for this year. Find it.
It was like 18,900.
I can't find it now.
Okay.
It's a published number.
Why he's looking
I think it's 27.
Yeah, if we want to go to the next one, you're looking for that, that'd be great. Did we have anything on the student services portion, which would be the page before the staff supplements on student services?
As far as like the supplements and
52.
things, those type
You're
of
fine.
things.
Right.
As far as the supplements and the top 4 items for the coaches and all that, so does the state not pay for some of that stuff? Okay.
They will pay the teacher, anybody who qualifies as a certified teacher, they get that 071 state supplement. But unless we dictate or have extra money, no, they do not. Some districts do not pay supplements at all in these tight times.
Any money for coaches.
Were there
Yeah, I
any,
was kind of wondering how that went, so I just wanted to ask a question.
were there any other
The
questions on
coaches-
student
The coaches
services?
I'm not
do get
following.
an extra duty stipend.
You're not.
So the 5501 stipends coach, 25,000. That's for all the coaches within the school system?
Yeah. The 5501 is Central Middle School,
Right.
5501 is
Okay.
central.
50,000 is Gates County High School. So the key to it is 308. 308 is the middle school, and 312 is the high school.
So that's,
Okay.
yeah, that's the problem. I'd like to see some granularity here. That's what our
You need
request
this
was.
We need a code,
We need to
yeah, like some
see
kind of way
how much. I
to, we
mean,
need a code book so we
If it's
know.
50,000 for one coach, that's a heck of a lot. If it's 50,000 for 5 of them, then
Plus you would need to know 304, what, 304, 308?
Right, what
all
the
those
little
all
stuff,
high
because
school.
we have no context, which is the biggest
But-
thing, like
but
when we
so
talk
the
about
stipend-
detail.
so are these stipends are paid by county funds?
Yes, sir. All,
Okay, so all of these, okay.
Yes.
So anywhere stipend is worded, that's
That's
county
county
funded,
funded.
okay.
Yeah.
So again, with the coaches, that is covering everything, starting in the fall sport of football, all the way to the ending sport of baseball,
And you
softball.
said 308 is middle school, 312 is high school?
Yes, 308
Okay.
is the middle school, 312 is the high school.
Okay,
We have an athletic director at the middle school, and then we have an athletic director at the high school.
all right. Thank you, sir. Okay, do we have any other next on these here, or we
There's
moving
no-
down?
Nope.
All right. Testing, I think is pretty cut and dry. Curriculum and instruction. Do you
Yeah,
have any
so,
questions on that one?
yeah, the EC funding is just a big lump sum, 353,000. What's 353,000?
Well,
Is that
I'm glad you
6
asked.
students, or, yeah, I'm sorry.
When we met here last, I did listen. You guys gave me your top 3 things that you kind of were willing to fund. And luckily for me, it was my top 3 as well. I believe you had EC funding, you had child nutrition, and technology. So with the additional 360 requests that we have this year, and it's just a request, we know funds are tight on your side too. The EC funding, being that we still have a gap of roughly 7% that's not funded on our side, I went ahead and allotted 130,000 extra to what we did compared to last year. Also, I'll go ahead and give you some context on child nutrition. We are probably going from 82% on child nutrition that the state covers down to maybe 71 to 72% because of our numbers with the losing, that's just the way the numbers work. We lost kids that kind of bumped us up to 82%. So that means instead of 130,000, if the county would be so willing until the tax referendum maybe passed.
I was going to say, yeah, and if I may interject there, we did state that we would go with what the county decided.
It took 3
So-
years in Bertie to pass before.
Yeah.
Okay, my question still stands. What is the 353,000? And after you talked, I'm more confused than ever, because now I'm saying, is that 353 plus you want 360 more?
It's 130 added into that number.
Okay.
It's contracted services.
So 130 contracted service to what was last year. And what was in last year's was more contracted service or employees?
That's the contracted services line.
So that's all contracted
That's all
services,
contracted
353,000, okay.
311 is contracted services.
Okay.
That's like your speech therapy, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
that we-
Okay.
Okay.
A unique way the state works, they give you a flat rate, it's 13%, if I'm not mistaken, 13%
Yeah.
of your budget is allocated to EC. They don't go by a count of number of EC students or whatever. We're fluctuating about 19% of our students right now are on an EC program,
You said 19%?
Yes.
about
Okay.
19% right now, but your flat rate at 13%. So they give
Okay.
you a percentage, that's where they cut you at.
Okay,
So we have about, I think, our analysis shows about 19% of our kids right now are on some type of
Okay.
EC. So this is where this extra cost is coming from. You have to make it up somewhere.
okay. So this is 6% of that 19% budget?
Correct.
Okay,
Pretty much.
And the rest, you'll see another large chunk
Okay.
in the state budget that is doing EC. But again, because we have more students in that program, we have to supplement somewhere.
so this, just asking for the breakouts, this last line under curriculum and instruction, that 100,000, nope, I'm sorry, hold on. I just overlapped there, it was
salary.
2,500. I was thinking that, yeah, that was technology supplement, but no, that's not. That's the AP salary, GCHS, AP assistant principal salary, 100,000, okay,
State covers everything but that.
okay. And state funds one, and we have to fund the others, correct?
That is
That's correct.
Okay,
And just as a context for that, we know state only funds one at the high school. We did that one year where we only had one. And
It didn't work.
It wasn't good. Things got much better when we put two back last year. So, I mean, to me, it's a safety and a discipline issue of having
Okay.
that extra AP
Okay.
there.
Plus, it also allowed for an elective to be put in, whereas our core courses would not have been subject to testing so hard.
okay.
So,
That's what I said, just, this is great, just to justify the explanation. All right, so we're under are we still under,
Yeah, we're still under the curriculum.
Yeah,
Curriculum?
but I'm still stuck on the EC thing.
okay,
So, I'm sorry. So just trying to understand this, because
Yeah.
what I've heard in the past, just what I'm hearing, not saying this what y'all are saying, but what I've heard in the past is we're short-staffed, we don't have enough people, and the cost increase I see is for additional contracted services.
Well, the thing about EC is the state only gives us X amount.
Right.
But the law says you have to provide whatever they need. We have some EC students that have to have a one-on-one person. And then you have others that are pulled out of the class, or they're, they
Well,
have
yeah, I
something.
get that.
And I know you understand that, but what I'm saying is, we don't have the flexibility of saying, oh, well, we're just gonna cut this EC teacher, when we have, the federal law says we have to have it. Federal law is what dictates EC. Am I correct?
That's correct.
I guess I'm not asking my question right, because everything you said I get and understand. What I was trying to understand is the discussions before where you were short-staffed with EC people. I remember 3 years ago, the 800,000 was all about hundreds of thousands of dollars short in EC. And then more recently, hey, yeah, we don't have enough EC teachers. But what I'm saying is, I'm not seeing so far anything where you're saying you're actually doing anything about a shortage of EC teachers. Am I going to see that later?
It's the cost that is rising. You're
But
giving
I
it-
get the cost is rising. I'm saying, where am I seeing the cost of the additional teachers? There's no detail to tell me
Let's say
that
that
you're
we
actually
might
doing
have
that.
one student that we cannot accommodate their needs, and that IEP, which is the individual plan, then we would have to go outside to another source to get that, and that cost can run us, some years it's run over $100,000 for one student.
We
What
have,
would require?
we're staffed, we are fully staffed on EC now.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's what you're asking.
That's the answer. That was the
Yeah.
answer
Okay.
right there.
Is
okay?
that what you were
That was it.
asking?
Yes,
That
we
was
did-
it.
Okay.
We have defined our classes, we have fully funded all the EC teachers that we need.
Okay.
We've
So
got
that's-
all
These
the
are
EC
special,
teachers.
Okay.
special services.
Are you, okay?
Unless,
good, I'm
unless
good.
somebody decides they're leaving.
That was the simple answer.
And we've been
Okay.
on that scenario in that option 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, yes.
What's the advanced membership fees?
2, 3, 4, 5 lines.
That is a membership that we have to pay for certification per year,
Okay.
for Cognitive, I believe. You're gonna see a lot of membership fees in this, well, excuse me, I see a lot of membership fees that I balk at, but they have to be paid, just simply to maintain your viability.
I'm gonna say, I have a question. So it looks like the codes,
6110.
is that for, it looks like they all have 5 different codes, so 5 different schools, that's one fee for each school, is that correct?
3, 12, yes.
So one of these will no longer be,
That's correct.
okay, so one of these is going away. Which number was Buckland?
Well, Buckland's not in there.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
well-
Central office has to be, I believe. it's-
Okay, central office is the number 5, okay.
Okay.
That's,
Your Buckler one's 304.
okay,
Yeah, that's right.
gotcha. So it was central office was a 5th. All right, do we have any other questions on that one with the curriculum and instruction?
What's the technology supplements?
Technology supplies.
I read it wrong, sorry.
Yep, supplies and
Yeah.
supplements, okay.
My
No,
dyslexia
it
got
wasn't a
hold of
question, we just had a, yeah. Just misread that line, that's all.
Yeah.
All right, so under maintenance,
So,
Now,
Yeah.
Buckland is included in this.
it is.
okay.
304 is Buckland.
You said 3 or 4 is Buckland. Could we just have just those real quick? I'm sorry, 304 is Buckland. What is Gatesville and Cooper? I have.
Gatesville 316. Cooper is 324.
Okay,
Middle school's the 308. High school's 312.
okay, thank you. Just, we don't have to ask y'all repeatedly. Okay.
It's Greek on your side.
Getting better though, codes help. I'm a numbers person, but I gotta have a line attached to it.
So just to be clear then, so if Buckland's 304, then everywhere there's 304, that cost should come out.
You will see that on the utility side because that building will still be maintained. You can't close the building up and not keep the air on or let,
What is the
Why?
plan as far
So that
as-
transfers
because mold
to our
and mildew.
costs,
You
right?
can ask Mr. Green, mold and mildew will take the
yeah.
building over if you don't keep the.
I'm gonna ask a genuine question, because I don't know if it's been asked. Would that cost not transfer to the county and come out of the school budget at this point?
That is up to the county.
Yeah, that's.
Is that how that would work? If your schools aren't operating in the building, does that
That-
become
that
a
is totally
county
up to the county.
cost, which would adjust the budget here? I'm asking for conversation here.
Well, yeah, but that comes back again to the thing I asked about earlier about that summary of cost and
Right.
closing. These costs should be included
That would be one of
as
them that would be
savings
included.
for the
Right.
school board budget. And if we
Yeah, yeah.
chose to, we take possession of the building, we chose to
And that's why I
seal it
left
up, close it up, cut it off, the utilities, those are savings to be realized. If, however, we find an alternative use, those costs will attack, and Mr. Sauer will have to figure out how to pay for those. Then it happens.
So that shouldn't, that, basically trying to take that off of you guys.
Well, that's why I left it in because I was not
Okay.
sure about.
And yeah, we just need clarity on that,
Yeah,
yeah,
and believe me,
across
once
the
we have the
board.
budget crisis, we're gonna start moving into long-range facility planning and try to figure out what we're gonna do with this building from a school system and then have discussions with you. So that's what's in there for now.
So is it the,
Fully powered, heating and air building
Yeah.
price right now.
If heat and fuel
And,
on that one too.
I understand that the school board hasn't had any type of discussion with, as far as that goes.
No, we're
How,
trying,
how would you want us to treat it at this point in time? Do you want
Yeah.
to keep it in your budget, or you want us to say, lessen yours, put it on ours? Okay, all right,
You said pointed
I
us?
think you should stay in ours for right now.
okay.
Oh, you think it
Yeah.
should stay in yours?
Yes.
Okay,
we'll get to that after we get over
Yeah, okay.
this and get the kids and the teachers going in the right direction.
we're just
We
trying to
got-
help y'all's budget.
Yeah, I know, we're
Okay.
trying to function, we're trying to
We're,
get
we're trying
one
to,
step at a time.
Believe me,
Okay.
we had that discussion about that light vehicle.
okay. I don't have anything else on maintenance. I don't know if you guys do.
Maintenance costs pretty certain.
Any of you other four, no? Transportation's next. Again, I feel like that was pretty cut and dry for me, in my opinion. That give y'all a chance to look over that.
So all right, so I guess that's an extenuation, I'm sorry. And on the continuation of the maintenance page, down there at the bottom, it says maintenance recurring. $48,000. What is maintenance recurring? Is that like, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I could come up with several things, but I don't want to tell y'all what it is.
That would be related to repair and cost. 422 is repair.
So
It's
that'd be
unexpected things.
Repair, like.
replace a broken light fixture, replace broken doorknobs, filters for
Anything that would
HVAC.
need to be repaired.
Okay, just want to make sure that, because, I mean, up here it says, maintenance. Well, actually, it doesn't say that, because it
So
had a
we
maintenance
changed
summary.
that to repairs.
So kind of expected repairs, the expected,
Or-
or
Recurring's
unexpected, but I mean
Recurring's
expected,
fine.
recurring for, yeah, but I mean,
Just
it's
wanna
for
make
the
sure Same line.
ones that you know are gonna happen, okay?
It's the inventory you keep at the maintenance shop for your air filters, you're like,
Yeah.
You're rotating, yeah. Okay. Transportation is next. Again, for me, that one's kind of cut and dry.
Just, well, only question I
Yeah.
had was, is the transportation director's salary, is that consistent? I mean, is that changed or anything from last year? I mean, obviously, you're talking about incremental cost of living
Yeah.
increases, but
And I do have a question with that, because I know that last year there was a question about the pay increase for the drivers that came to the board. Is that addressed in here? That Mr. Jordan had brought to you guys?
We did increase.
So that's included, everything in here
Yeah,
for that?
included, yes.
Oh, okay.
It went from $25 to $50.
Okay, and that's, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was reflected, because I remembered his ask, okay. Under finance, if we have no other for transportation, I don't know if you're still there.
the supplement under, for that, is that supplement you pay to drivers for driving school
Bus
buses?
drivers.
For like activity bus drivers or
That's-
something?
that's your bus
Okay,
drivers.
all right.
Okay,
That have been there 10 years or more.
So if they
Okay.
haven't been there 10 years, they don't get a supplement for driving an activity bus? What's the rationale for
I
that?
know it is. That's why it's so hard to get bus drivers.
Yeah,
I bet.
okay. That seems,
All right, so under finance, I want to clarify, charter school payments, is that because we have students from our county going to charter schools? Is that what we decided before for the conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is our fee to other schools because we have
do
students
we
going
have
out
to
of county.
pay out
to-
of our county budget for them to go?
For them
like,
to go to other
meet Or
schools.
whatever?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So if we had a charter school in our county, we would have to share
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the local budget with them.
yeah.
So when you have this situation, you have to contribute to that charter school the part of the program that you're getting from your local.
Yep.
Do we know how many students from Gates County are going to charter schools outside of the county? Is that a number that we have?
I don't remember.
19?
Yeah.
Okay,
so how do you get billed? How do you figure out that payment that you got to make, or who do you make
At
it
the
to?
beginning of the year, they send us, the state sends us a template, and it figures out what the county appropriation is, and we see how many kids are in that mix, and $258 and change is what I pay per student per month.
per student per month?
Per month.
Okay.
And we have about probably 4 brick and mortar schools that go at the outside, and maybe 3 virtual schools.
Okay,
And we use that same number for a student who wants to come in like from Hereford County to Gates County and pays out of county tuition.
okay, so they would pay that $258 per student per month to bring their students to our county. And question on that, I'm going to bring it up real quick while we're here. Moratorium, is that still in place for students coming out? Is there talk about lifting that?
I think it expires next year, at the
Yeah,
end of next
one more
year.
year.
It expires in one more year. Because, I mean, I understand what you were saying, the moratorium was in place because of potential costs that it would put on EC, that kind of thing. But we're also looking at possibly gaining revenue
It could,
there.
yeah,
So
you
it
could.
could. I mean, it's
You're
a gamble, but,
Right.
okay. 1 year.
Cost to benefit ratio, adding 2 students might
That's
cause you to
right.
have to add a whole nother
Right,
teacher
right.
and other stuff.
It's one of
We need to
those.
do much more
Yep.
than just say, oh, yeah, we can do 2 more because they'll get us $30,000 or something. We need to really
But
look
they
at
may,
that.
they may cost us more.
It
Yeah,
could.
exactly.
Okay.
You have to hire a teacher because you had 2 people.
So we do have 1 year, though.
If you'll compare to the other slide, if you look at, say, the kindergarten, first grade, we've almost maxed our number per student, per teacher.
Right.
18.
So it's going to be very hard to accept transfers because of the internal growth that we hope is going to happen.
Yeah. And
We've
I'll,
already- we've already maxed the teachers to the number the state maintains us to have per student.
what you said was 18 per kindergarten class, and putting, with the split of the schools, it's 50 and 51, which requires, if you do math, it's going to be 3 kindergarten teachers per school to accommodate the state requirements. Okay. All right, technology, or where are we at? Human resources, we moved along, where are we at? Everybody's on a different page. Everybody's on a different page. Technology.
Where do we start? So it's got advanced degrees, $2,500. I'm assuming those are supplements.
Which page are you on?
We're under
Salary, human
technology.
resources?
Oh, we're under technology, I'm sorry. I was
Oh.
reading the different pages everybody had out. We're on technology, working through there.
Okay.
Which I don't have any questions for technology, if y'all do.
Well, mine comes back to the presentation, we can talk about it then. You know, last year, you came in, you said you needed money for 5 schools to do computers. We agreed to allocate for 4, gave you the money. Come back to trust saying, we need money for new computers.
They were for Chromebooks.
What was, last year or this year?
Last year, you gave 120,000 for Chromebooks last year.
Right, for 4 schools. And so now, somewhere in here, I thought it said Chromebooks again.
For $100,000 under the cap.
It's a rotation.
For
It's a
Chromebooks.
It's a-
rotation, but it went down from 120 to 100,000.
So new books every year, new Chromebooks every
Because they're
single year?
they're on a rotation in Chromebooks.
Well, I get the rotation part, but
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, are we rotating all
Chromebooks-
all new computers every year?
Just the
Chromebooks,
Chromebooks.
yeah, are only good for, they're maxed at about 5 years. And
Can-
most of these they're
Right.
not updatable.
Can I
anymore.
ask, how many Chromebooks does $100,000
What-
cover?
There you go, the
Teacher.
teacher.
I just want to attest to that. When you have multiple students
Yeah.
using them all day long, it's not like just they're being used by
Oh.
one person once a day. You've got multiple students using them throughout the day. They just don't work.
I hear you. My tablet's at home. My kids know once a year, so.
So what I'm hearing is, I get that, but all of them wear out every year.
No,
No, this is replaced, they have them cycled like
Rotation basis.
yeah, rotation. So this is gonna only replace a certain allotment of them each year. They're trying to do it so we're not stuck with having to replace all of them in one
Last
big
year,
lump
What I'm
sum.
saying is, last year, we come and said 120,000 would do 4 of the 5 schools.
For the
Now
ones
that-
that needed replacements,
Yeah.
not all of them.
That was
I agree.
discussed last year, is that, and then I know we're getting kind of off base as far as trying to put it on here, but last year, the discussion was is that we were going to spend an extra $120,000 specifically allotted for all new Chromebooks because we needed new Chromebooks, because the ones that you had didn't work and that they were required for testing.
That's correct.
So we got that, y'all got the new Chromebooks, which is great. At this point in time, one of the things we talked about was, okay, make sure in your budget next year is that you have a little bit of money in there, so that way you can save money to be able to purchase and start a rotation, so we're not buying all these Chromebooks again.
Well, I feel like we did, but we only reduced it by like $20,000. Because last year, we asked for 100.
Mr. Smith, I think there's,
I wasn't here.
Let John talk about this,
So,
'cause he knows more
it
about it.
was originally, I was thinking, last year, 125,
Yeah.
and that would get us back up to speed and get into the rotation.
so that we could get a rotation. We
That's right.
paid
So we didn't
more
have
than,
to-
that's what I was remembering.
That's what I was,
Okay.
Good
Yes,
evening.
sir.
We asked for, 200,000 last year.
Okay.
That was for labs at each school. Each lab was about 37.5 per lab. We also asked for additional for that was for Chromebook replacements. We were able to get 2 labs with what we got because we got 120,000. So that was 75,000 right there just for labs. The rest of the money was spent on teacher MacBooks, to replace any teachers that MacBooks needed to go, and Chromebooks. This year, we're asking for be 100,000 to do the other 2 labs. We only were able to do 2 labs. And of course, we're gonna put them, there at the 2 elementary schools, so one of them's closed, and we won't need 5, we only need 4 now. So the other, that 100,000, 2 of that goes for, labs for the middle and high school, and then the additional would go for Chromebooks and the remainder of that, so you're looking at roughly 25 to 30,000 would be for Chromebooks and teacher replacements as needed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just wasn't what I understood.
Yeah, me either.
What the, we specifically tagged them for Chromebooks.
Yep.
And so that's why I was kind of wondering why weren't they bought? But I understand as far as you needed them where you need them, they got bought for technology, great. That's why I'm trying
But
to
the
figure out.
Chromebooks, one of those things that, like we have, I think Mr. Barham said, I mean, they're consumables. I mean, you get 5 to 6. For us, we get more than that because we have to, but I'm just saying, with those type of things, you need on the cycle, so if you, like our K and 1, a lot of them use iPads, but you get the 2nd through 12th graders, they're using Chromebooks every day.
Yeah.
So with that money, you could roughly replenish about a grade level, maybe 2 grade levels a year, and so over 5 years, you've replaced all of them.
And then that's at the request that we have now.
Can I also
So
Annually.
Is that, I'm still, no offense, it sounds like a shell game to me. What I'm trying to ask, or I guess I should ask is what's the expected annual recurring cost
That's what I was
for
just asking, yeah.
technology? That's what I'd be looking at, because right now, I still don't know what we bought last year versus what you're asking for now. I mean, I really don't. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I really don't understand.
I think Ms. Legg was trying to talk.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that they're also required for state testing because the platform now is online, and you can't really use a subpar Chromebook for end-of-grade testing or check-ins, because if something were to happen in the middle of the test, it could cost the whole school
I've heard about it.
to have to do retesting.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Forsythe, I would say roughly, to answer your question, 2 grade levels, roughly 75,000 a year.
Annual, that should be an
Yes, sir.
annual
And that's
cost.
for the
So that
Chromebooks,
should
and then
be
the
a
other
recurring.
25 would be for teacher upgrades.
And if we go for teachers, that's right, because after this year, if you all,
Right.
can work, I mean, we won't have to do labs anytime soon. I mean, the last labs we had for 15 years, 16 years, so we won't have, these won't last quite as long probably, because had newer stuff, you just
Oh,
wouldn't.
nothing now
But I
lasts.
mean, but at least the next, I would say 10 to 12 years, we ought to be good on labs, we won't have to buy those anymore. But Chromebooks is one of those things that's probably gonna be a recurring cost.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to understand is
Yes,
what
sir.
is the
Like
recurring
what to
cost.
expect for the
Yes, sir.
recurring cost.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right, thank you.
So I'd say in the future, it would be worthwhile for me if you show your IT, here's a recurring cost, you can put Chromebooks, whatever, or if you need a supplement because you've decided the labs have to be upgraded. And let's face it, we don't want to be the only county
Right.
in 10 counties where the kids don't know how to use a computer,
Right.
they're using antiquated technology. I agree, we need them to be up to date. And you got to be able to do the standard tests. I mean, it's nothing worse than trying to do software that your computer's not adequate to handle. But I would ask in the future, we see it as, here's your normal recurring cost, and that'll climb some with cost of living and inflation. But then if it's an additional cost, because last year I thought it was hey, this is a big slug to get us all
And I
through
will
for
say, I did
perpetuity for the next 3 or 4 years.
And I did understand that it was going to be a rotation last year, so I think it was just lost in interpretation between us, yeah. Was there anything else for technology before we move to board?
Well, so, hold on, so
Okay.
computer hardware, you have a $95,000 line item here, but then you have $100,000 somewhere else, so you're really asking for $195,000 for hardware? Is that what we're asking for? Sorry, we let you go too soon. Is that the deal? Is it 95,000 here, 100,000 supplement you're asking for, so you're really asking for
It's $105,000 here because it's 2 line items.
It's 10,000
that's
underneath
there,
of that,
but
yeah.
then separately, there's
Yeah, I know,
$100,000,
so-
so maybe it's 205,000.
I think that would more or less be in line with some of the servers and switches that need to be replaced. The main infrastructure.
Okay, the servers and everything.
And they're becoming not as dated as computer systems, but they are dated.
Okay.
462
And the telephone service there comes through the E-rate that we have through the state.
Okay.
What's the other one?
Okay, and that's for the 4 schools in the central office, is that right? The 5 mixed up again, okay.
The high school is 312, that's their code?
High school is
I
312,
hope they
yes.
get better phone service than I get when I'm near the high school. My cell phone service is horrible.
Oh,
It takes a while to get through my book here.
hopefully that's
You asked a question about the two numbers. The 95,000 number is 462. That's an inventoried computer. So it's a computer equipment that is inventoried. The 10,000 is below it, the 418, is computer software and supplies, which is like USB flash drives, printing
Okay.
paper. So that's why they're separated line items in our budget.
that kind of stuff.
Okay,
So are the Chromebooks not inventoried?
Neither one looks like Chromebooks.
Okay.
Not by the
On
definition.
inventory.
Okay.
Because of the dollar amount.
So these that are inventoried, what would they be if we're using Chromebooks? And
Probably servers.
It's a capital expenditure, would be, the 462 would be a capital expenditure, anything over $5,000, a server.
So that it is
I
the
think it's
servers?
servers,
servers.
okay.
Okay, all right.
That's what I would guess.
All right.
So that is not a recurring cost for year over year, right?
No, that would be, ask the expert on how long a server will last,
It's about 4 to 5 years.
but his are dated.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would say that's
Yeah, you're doing all right then. Doing real good.
Okay,
We just turned our services over
10 to
last year.
12. All right. We are moving along then to board. So, and just out of curiosity, clarification again, is there any state funding for board duties, or is that all county? So all 100% of that's on county? Just curious. Okay. Do we have any questions for this line item?
Supplement
Yep.
board member, 27,000. Is that to
Okay.
pay you guys?
That's what we get paid per meeting.
You get $27,000 per meeting? I'm running for school board.
You want to switch boards? You want to come out here?
So 27,600 covers all 5 of you for every meeting for the year, so collectively, okay?
So, just so for disclosure, we had a discussion the other day, the Board of Education is paid probably a little bit different than you are. We're paid by the number of meetings we have. We've been having a lot of meetings lately,
Yeah,
so we took a vote, I think it was Monday, and we are going to go on a monthly stipend now regardless of the number of meetings we're doing.
okay,
That way, we're not looking like we're trying to have meetings just to make more money. So now, we
That's
have
good.
voted that if we have 5 meetings a month or 14-hour meetings,
yeah,
we get paid the same every month now,
I
so
was wanting.
to not blow through this,
Overtime pay.
yeah.
it is to answer your question, it's not to blow through this budget. So again, we will not, Steve's gonna break this down to 12 months.
Okay.
By the number of board members, and we will not go over this amount. That keeps us from limiting the number of meetings we can
Yeah.
have to get through this budget crisis.
I want to say thank you as a
facility
constituent
crisis, and
for you
It's normal
making that
business.
sacrifice to
We
do that,
felt
because
like-
it does,
We felt
yeah.
like we should do our due diligence when everybody else is
Yeah.
having to make a cut, that we should take our
That
share
is
as
good
well.
leadership, thank you.
And
So-
that starts July 1.
Okay, that is good
Office
leadership.
supplies, so it costs $2,000 for supplies just for y'all to get your various copies and stuff, just like we do all the paper that has to get generated for y'all. Okay. I know, I'm just trying to make sure.
What is the professional dues?
Yeah.
That's my next one.
That's 10,000.
For us to be part of the
North Carolina
NCS
School
School
Board.
Board
Yeah,
Association.
So, okay, your association dues, okay.
Is
And
that
that's
per
charged
member or
per
for the board?
I'm sorry.
Is it a per member cost or per board?
No, it's per diem. Whatever ADM is what they charge us.
Okay,
Really?
that's like a lot.
It's interesting, I guess, yeah. Okay, all
So
right.
then you have office supplies, again, another $2,400.
The CO,
Yeah, it
so
says CO
central
up at the top of that.
office, okay.
The first one's
CO
2,000
and CO, yep.
Then you have CO again, same thing, it
And it's
sounds
the
like.
same code, 411, same
So we get to
purpose.
choose one, we'll take the cheaper one.
Yeah,
What's the difference in the?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check. How you doing up there, Miss Ryan?
I'm still hanging with y'all.
Okay.
All right, I'm not asking, you don't, have-
No, yeah, are
so y'all
those,
can look at it, or,
because they are the same line, like with the 411 with the code and all that, is that two?
One of them would strictly be central office, the 810 would be strictly central office, and the other one would be splitting hairs, I know, but the other one would be if your central office was doing something maybe for something outside of the central office, for one of the schools or something like that.
Okay, so something central office specific versus supplementing for schools.
810 would be the other, after 411, the 810 code would be specific central office,
Okay,
and the other would be something outside of the central office that the central office was still paying for, the board was paying for.
okay.
$4,400 though, that's, wow, okay.
For office supplies, okay.
And then the next one
Do we
is
have-
supplies for 2,000. So we have 2,000 for central office, 2,400 for central office, and 2,000 for supplies.
Now,
And they're all 411 code.
right,
Sounds like we got $6,400 in office supplies. That's a lot.
there's, well, some of those supplies, the things that they cover are expensive, I will say that. They've done really good this year with their budget. They're right at 50.
So what, I mean, office supplies means something different for everybody, I guess. So it's not just paper. What is office, I'm not trying to be like cutting down, but like,
Categorize that as something like plaques, all of the things you do for teachers. It could be
so teacher appreciations, those type things. Okay.
And when you're doing that for, 120 teachers, I mean, that will add up quick.
Okay, so it's not, not just paper
We're
then.
having it May the 17th, please come out.
I'm sorry.
We're having it May the 17th at Gatesville School. Please come out.
That's me 11.
All right.
It's the 11th.
Oh, it's 11, I'm sorry.
May the
There is
11th?
another meeting for 17th.
May the 11th, okay.
Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you. All right. I'm moving down to human resources if y'all are. I'm not sure if
Yep.
I'm there. Okay. Can you explain what other contracted services means? And then I'm just going to go ahead and give you my three that I have questions about off. Salary, advanced degree,
Yeah.
HR, other contracted services, and stipend BT coordinator. What are those?
BT coordinator is the beginning teachers coordinator.
Okay. Beginning teachers.
What is that?
Can we,
Beginning teachers is to coordinate getting the beginning teachers on board, like making sure they're with their mentors and overseeing the mentorship.
so training,
Overseeing the mentorship.
kind of onboarding then? We're looking at somebody that's onboarding new hires. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, new teachers have certain things that they have to check off for
Okay.
a certain amount of years, and so that person just makes sure that they are in line to doing, and having support, monthly meetings,
Okay.
support for new people.
So is this one person or is that spread amongst several mentors?
It's like one per school, isn't it?
One per school?
Well, there is a BT coordinator, and then you
Yeah.
have mentors at each school.
Okay, so that coordinator coordinates the
That's the
mentors.
coordinator.
This isn't
And
for
then
the mentors.
The mentors get a stipend,
Right.
a
Okay.
monthly stipend, and it depends on how many new teachers you have.
Okay. All right, and then the other two with the salary, advanced degree, and other contracted services. It's,
The other contracted services is 311 is your normal contracted services line. This is a number that is not static. It can fluctuate from year to year. All depends on what your HR department is doing as far as job fairs, events that they would have in-house or out of house, pulling in people to work the job fairs. So, that number may fluctuate $10,000 either way in the course of the
Yeah.
year. But I don't leave myself short when I put them in there, so forgive me for that.
okay. No, I'm just curious what it meant there. And then the salary, advanced degree,
That would be
2,500.
someone having a doctorate degree.
Okay.
So we pay is that a state requirement or something, or is that some part of their job description,
State
or
requirement.
state requirement, they have a doctorate or a master's or
Anyone
something?
has an advanced degree such as a doctorate, I believe, I'm trying to think of the amount, it's $256 extra a month plus benefits.
They get $253 more for doctrine.
Is it 53?
I think it's 253.
Yeah.
And they just return master's pay also.
Yeah, and what?
Master's pay.
Okay. So they get
Okay.
something extra for having an advanced degree? Okay.
Okay.
That's a supplement, okay.
Do we have any other questions on the
Yep.
human
So
resource? Mhm.
now HR, isn't that in central office?
Yes.
You got $5,000 for supplies and materials, again, another, so we're up to $11,000 in supplies now at the central office. If HR department's at central office.
But they're two departments. That's just the way I look at it, because I can't use central office supplies for HR supplies.
Why?
Because coding wise, if the auditor comes in and looks at me, and if I'm buying stuff for the central office that's directly related to the HR department, I mean, that's a slap on my hand.
So could either be lessened, even buying separate supplies?
That's all right.
Could it be lessened?
Like 6,400 from one and 5,000 from the other. If you're not able to share, would those numbers decrease some?
I reckon anything could be lessened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the next item, though, you talked before about part of the
Staff
office.
appreciation. I was just
cost with
looking at
staff
that, yeah.
appreciation. Here you got $10,000 more for staff appreciation items.
I think that those plaques come
That
under
is the
this.
beginning of school and Christmas party.
So that's separate from the plaques and things like that.
Yes.
So y'all pay for all the schools for their Christmas parties, y'all pay for all their expenses for that? Okay.
So far, in the past, they paid individual schools. In this past, since I've been here, we have done the Christmas party, which is substantial as far as cost.
For all the schools or
Well,
for
it's-
central
it's-
office?
I'm going to say I 100% support staff appreciation. They don't get enough as it is. So, I mean, stipends are going everywhere else. They can absolutely get staff appreciation if they can't get the stipends for teachers. They're going other places.
Right, well said, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
So not arguing that remotely, just again, trying to figure
Sorry.
out why we have 10,000 and 11,000. And I heard you say that this is for Christmas parties, but it's also for appreciation. I get it. I guess it just seems like to me there's an awful lot of numbers are aggregating up to now we're approaching, what, $22,000 in expendables, miscellaneous appreciation plaques, paper, et cetera.
And I'm going to be honest, when that number gets high enough, I'm sure these teachers would prefer a little more money in their pockets than,
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if that 10,000
Another
should be
plaque to
shoved
put in
out
a
to
drawer.
the schools for
Just
their
saying.
distribution. Okay, just asking.
all right, any other HR questions, human resources, questions on that one? I'd say, because if not, we can move down to Office of Superintendent. I have one major question to kick off with, and that is the superintendent supplement at $64,000. What is that supplement for?
That is part of the contract, the local part.
How much does the state cover?
The state covers about 125, I believe, 35.
135, is this including retirement and all those type things in this, or is that going to be broken out in something else?
No, that's everything.
So what is the salary, that portion of that? Because when we add 125,000 plus 64,000, we're looking at 189,000, and the contract is for 170,000. So does that 19,000 100% made up in retirement, or is this another stipend built in?
No, that's actually part, let's get the FICA retirement and hospitalization in that number.
So the W-2 number that is going out is 170,659.20 per the contract, not anything. Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
I would think that your W-2 number would match your contract.
Yeah,
It depends on if there's additional language.
Well, there's no additional in here. In the contract specifically, it states annually. It does not talk about an increase annually. Like I know our county manager has built in cost of living increase. That's not listed here. So no increase in salary has been deemed. So I'm asking, is the 64,000 necessary to supplement the exact penny amount that is contracted?
It says in there that even that the state amount was to go up, that your pay is based off of what the state salary schedule says it's supposed to be, and then the rest of it will be made up from county funds.
And I just want to point out, your Board of Education just made a move to make sure that they weren't taking any money away from the school system because the teachers and such deserve the pay. So we need to make sure that's being reflected in leadership across the board, that we're not giving any supplements anywhere else. So again, appreciate your leadership, Board of Education. Any other questions on these lines?
well, I didn't hear the answer.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't hear
true,
the answer to
but
that.
there
It's
was,
the W-2 amount, to be honest with you. I wasn't going to ask quite something like that,
Go
but
ahead.
since you've asked it.
it's public information.
I know, that's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
I haven't seen the W-2, but I would say that the W-2 would be representing 170 plus any state bonuses that would be allowed per employee.
That's not what it says.
That's not what the contract says.
And I'm going to pass this down to our attorney just for him to look at it and make sure we're not out of line with our questioning.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we would have to ask our attorney.
That's fine, but to ask the question, I'm going to refer to my attorney, not yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say up front that when the time comes, I'll ask for us to restrict or otherwise pigtail the money to be to the contract amount.
Yes.
Our component.
Yeah.
I was somewhere else. What did Mr.
Okay,
Forsythe
let's shy away from this. All right, thank you, attorney. All right, so any other questions on the Office of Superintendent line?
I didn't hear the last thing that.
Oh.
Mr.
I'm simply
Forsythe
saying when it comes to time for us to approve a budget, I will be asking that we specifically restrict our component to be consistent with the contract. And the
Okay.
part the county will fund will only be the part that gets them to 170 from what the state pays.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
that will be explicitly requested and a restriction within our budget.
Okay.
If
So
I
we
get
have
my way.
anything else on the Office of Superintendent line?
Oh, yeah, hold on. So the supplement, 64,000. We have meeting meals, 2,500. Non-instructional subscriptions, 2,500. Non-instructional subscriptions, 14,000. Meetings, workshops, 12,000. Memberships dues, 25,000. Consortium dues, 35,000. And then office supplies, another.
3,500.
Oh, 3,500, I'm sorry. Office supplies, another 3,000, and another office supplies line for 1,000. So we're now up to $25,000 or $26,000 in office supplies being sent to central office and being funded. But overall, we're spending $129,000 beyond the state paid salary for, wow.
What does the whole person cost?
Yeah. That ends up being,
A stipend for our teachers.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, so what's in the first non-instructional subscriptions for 2,500 versus the second non-instructional subscriptions for 14,000?
I don't disagree that superintendents are expensive, but I don't think the commissioners realize how much some of these organizations charge superintendents to be in these organizations.
Are they all necessary organizations? Are there any that can be cut for the sake of our county and our students?
That's a conversation that we've had, and I don't know the exact answer to that, but I just know that when they come across my desk, yes, I see them. They're professional organizations that all superintendents that are in that organization pay. And I know some are regulated by the state and mandated.
So I'm saying what's mandated and what's not, yeah.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see what each of these is for 14,000 for just one of them.
If I can interject just as a board member here, this was this came across, this was the last one we did too. So you're looking at 10:30, 10:45 at night. We did not get down to the root
Y'all were wrapping
of
up at that
these
point.
yet. So we're still going to do some exploring here.
Okay.
So
So maybe next meeting
we're fully
together.
aware of what you're looking at.
Okay.
We have not, this is one of those that's sort of unfinished.
Man, I need to see,
Line.
I'd want to see details. This is extraordinarily high for miscellaneous expenses and travel costs and meetings. I mean, we're talking about easily $40,000 to $50,000 in dues and transportation and meetings and consortiums, et cetera.
I know like billion-dollar companies that don't pay this much in dues that I have the pleasure of working with. They don't pay this much.
All right. So we'll come back to that. You said that y'all have to visit, so
I'm asking for many more details about
a lot
all
more
of this.
information.
Wow.
All right, so going to the next page. The next page we're looking at,
That's just the.
yeah, that's a summary, it looks like, of, yep, that's a summary of what we just kind of went over.
That's like the very first one.
Yeah, just kind of,
What would be helpful? I kind of like that presentation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we have like in the blank column, and maybe add another column, but in the blank column and then add another column as far as what was the budget last year? and then the
Okay.
difference between the two. So
Yeah.
that way, when we all come together, we can talk about why
Right.
the changes, right? That's,
And whatever we schedule our next joint meeting, if it could be a few days after so that we can hopefully get this information before, I mean, I know y'all just finished Monday night, we got it to us today, that's great, but just so that we all have time to look and ask questions beforehand, and we might not be in this place
Is
necessarily.
this something you're asking for us to do now, or are we talking about next budget cycle?
for us to do now. because
Yeah.
we're-
I was going to be clear.
Yeah.
So you would like
They
for
need
us,
it as soon as possible.
As soon as possible would be ideal, yeah,
I mean, that's the way I interpret it.
yeah. Okay. All right, in this packet that we have here, any other general questions in regard to local funds, state budgets?
No, I just reiterate the request for the breakdown of the stipends and supplements. And
Yeah.
And without gamesmanship of what's a supplement, what's the
Right.
stipend, anything that's not straight allocation of salary.
Right.
Anything extra, if it's a fee or something extra that's paid, call it a supplement, call it a stipend, call it a grant, call it a gratuity, call it whatever you want, just a summary that lets us see that. And incidentally, it does say the state guidance says y'all are supposed to post that for your central office online. I assume that's on y'all's webpage, because that's a requirement for y'all to post it. I looked today, I couldn't find it.
I
So if
couldn't
it's
either.
there,
It's there.
I need somebody to point me
Was
to
it?
it,
Okay.
your new webpage.
It's on the transparency information, the financial document.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, talking about the budget, I'm going to revisit child nutrition that we had talked about earlier, kind of hit on and then bypassed. We did fund the $130,000 last year. We put it on the ballot, and we said that was a one-time expense out of capital funding. And constituents after constituent after constituent came to us with concerns, with questions, with all of the things, and they were told, whatever our county decides by vote is what this board has to have told. We're not going to turn around and do like has been done in years past and have the county decide that they're going to vote on something and then our board's going to overturn that and do what we want anyways. That's not what we're here for. They elected us, so we have to do what they are electing to do. I don't like it as much as necessarily anybody else. I loved the idea of funding the food for the kids, the child nutrition program. My question is going to be by meal, because I know we're talking about numbers and state things like that. How many meals have to go through the school, and what does that look like to get the fully funded version versus not? You mentioned percentages earlier, and you said that it went down because students left, and I'm just curious how that number went down, because if students left, then your percentage should change as well.
To Dr. Simpson, she can.
That's fine, if Dr. Simpson, yeah, if she's able to come up, and that would be great. Because, again, we want to encourage the community to get out and to do things and to eat school lunches and all the things. We would love to see this funded, but unfortunately, we have to be true to our constituents and what they voted to, and that's who we're obligated to.
Are you looking in the slide deck now, or what?
I'm going off the cuff
Okay.
on child
Just
nutrition.
don't
I'm
wanna-
sorry, I just had a
That's okay, I still
question.
want to go through the slide deck.
Didn't mean to
with the
confuse you.
questions.
Yeah, we're going to go through that. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Okay, what Mr. Harrell was referring to when he said the numbers went down, well, the program is based on the number of identified students. And when we say identified students, it's like the students that are homeless and the number of students that are directly certified through DHHS.
Okay.
Last year, that number was like 51.4, and this year, that number has decreased, and that is no control of ours.
Right.
I mean, it has its pros and cons. It's good that we don't have that many kids that are needy, but
Yep.
then again, it affects our program. So this year, when we had to pull the report on April 1st, the number has dropped to like 44%.
Okay.
So that means it's less that we will be paid for reimbursement.
Okay.
So for us to be paid for 100%, that number has to be at least 62.5% of our students identified as needy.
Okay.
And that number is only 44%.
Okay.
So when they do the calculations, like we will only be paid like 71% at the free
Yeah.
rate.
Okay.
And the other 30% would have to be
Right.
paid from a non-federal source.
Okay, and my other follow-up question to that, and again, I told y'all we were going to stay on course, and then I went off course, so I apologize, but so we don't have to call you back up here multiple times like we try to do with Mr. Smith here. With the allocated funding for the $130,000 last year, at some point earlier in the year, we were told it might not even be needed. Has that been required?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I mean, has it been used?
Has it been used? Is it going to be
Yes.
allotted? Like, where are we at on that?
Yes, most definitely. We have, I mean, unfortunately, it's like every month, it's a challenge just to make our ends meet because, you know, the cost of food and the increase of students. But yes, that money has been depleted.
Okay.
And we're just hoping that we'll be able to sustain ourselves for the
Okay,
next 2 months.
I appreciate that, and I'm thankful we did not reallocate that earlier in the year when it was discussed, because it was looking so good.
Yeah.
That's all I had for child nutrition. I don't know if you all had anything else at this time.
All right.
Well, no, you said something, you said hope. I hate when I hear the word hope. We're hoping it's going to work out. What if it doesn't work out? What's going to be the repercussion?
Well, it's a possibility, I mean, that we may have to refer back to the free and reduced applications because without additional funding, it is no way we will be able to run the program next year.
So in other words, if nothing changes as we're going right now, you hope it'll improve, but if it doesn't, next year the program dies.
Most likely.
Okay,
yes.
just want to make sure I'm clear.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, so going to the slide deck then,
Are we switching documents?
we are, I was about to say, we're going here.
Okay, thank you.
Slide deck. Okay. We good? Okay. This is just a little less chaotic than shuffling papers. Okay. So starting at the page, anybody have any statutory questions? No?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Under
okay.
statutory stuff. Okay, so
Yep.
one of the questions I want to understand, again, I'm back to being, call it critical or not, I noticed that now Dr. Williams is no longer presenting, it's become somebody else. But I'd like to know who participates in the preparation of the budget. Is that strictly the central office? Do the high school and each of the schools submit a proposed budget that then gets vetted? Does any of that get visibility at y'all's level, or is that totally central, assembles it? Who participates in making of the sausage, as you pointed out?
Dr. Jordan, she goes out to each school, talks with each principal. And we have a form that is, it's a template where we ask for their needs, wants, and wishes. And then they come back, and we put everything together with Mr. Harrell. We present that to the Board of Education, and everything is in nice neat packages. It isn't just a central office that's making decisions.
So
Or
they
put
submit something that says,
packages.
here's our staffing needs, here's our cost
exactly
needs,
right.
our subscription cost, our plan travel costs.
Everything, right.
Okay. All right.
This was, Mr. Forsythe, I will tell you, and I'm relatively new, I've only been here through 2 budget cycles.
Yeah.
But this year, we had a meeting at Mill Pond, and it was the first time since I've been there. All of the principals were there. We had
Okay.
all of the directors there, so that there was a better understanding of them understanding what our process was when it got to us.
I love that.
And going through, and I think they really appreciated that.
Is this
Yeah.
the first time for this?
I can't say the first time, it was the first time since I have been up there,
Okay.
but it was refreshing to have
Right.
them there so that they got to have input, we had discussions with them,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to understand how the process worked.
Okay.
In years
So-
past, it was at central office.
Okay, I'm going to bring that back up when we talk about staffing then. But go ahead. Okay, I'm good.
Any other questions on that? Okay, so we will move to the next. We had the planning resolution. If there were any questions, budget resolution, just stop me as I turn if y'all
Yeah,
need
so
something.
my question is, during the presentation, Dr. Williams, you kept trying to show granularity, difference between a budget resolution and a planning resolution, but then you called this a budget planning resolution. So which is this we're dealing with right?
This is a planning resolution.
So
What we're
strictly
planning
planning
to do,
resolution?
right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, making sure, okay.
All right, so we're moving on to Gates County Schools, vision, values, personnel. We're on the 2025-2026 school demographics. Any questions there? If not, we'll move on to projected K-5 average class size.
I got something here.
Okay.
Okay, so, looking at this, again, I'm back to the part of wanting to see that study that says, here's what your savings are going to be.
Yeah.
And one of those components is staffing, potential reduction in staff that's possible by closing a school or whatever. So I look through this, I see the state requirements, K through 5 here, and your projected class sizes and everything. But I do want to note that while the class sizes are fixed for allocations through 3rd grade, 4th and 5th do not have that fixed requirement, right?
4th and 5th
So,
do not.
Fourth and fifth.
so you actually show, though, 3 teachers at every grade level. So my real question is are there not potentially 4 billets there through 2 schools where they could have 2 teachers? I don't know class sizing and all, but when you go to 4th grade, or even one of the schools having 3 billets and the other one having 2, is there not some savings potential there because you don't have a mandated requirement for this class size for those two?
Let me
I have a question
speak
too on that, okay.
In that if we split and we go to 2 teachers in the 5th grade, if we have 2 teachers in 5th grade, which is what we have currently now with the 3 schools, they have smaller classes, but if you go to only 2 teachers at the 2 schools, you're gonna have class size of 25.
And 26.
Somewhere in that realm. And then you're gonna have a teacher that is gonna be teaching math and science, that's 2 tested areas. And you can't expect the class size to go up and the test scores to go up with that many students. And if we do have an influx, then you have tipped scale to even more. I'm not saying it can't be done, but for me, and I've said this numerous times, I feel like as a school board, we're like the pivot of a balance between finance and our student outcomes and doing what's best for our students. So and if we don't have the funding for it, that's what will happen, is we will have larger class sizes because we won't have any other choice. But we can't, as you said, K through 3, where
Those are
the
fixed.
You're locked in,
state,
yeah.
the state
I get those are
fixes
fixed.
that,
I
but
see
the other 2
the
aren't
mandated
fixed.
sizes,
Right.
but they're not
Fair
mandated.
does it.
So we were
Doesn't
trying,
fair does it.
yeah, we were trying to keep the class sizes so that they weren't astronomical with 25 and 30 in them.
Yeah, the
When-
state guidance, the language though specifically implies that for 4th and 5th, it's actually okay for it to go up. It's
It is.
totally at your
It is.
discretion.
It is.
What you stated,
Okay.
That is exactly
So we're
right.
choosing to keep right here 4 billets that
right.
effectively these numbers for 2 elementary schools now effectively are the same as we had for 3 elementary schools by choice, not by requirement.
That is correct.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine. I'm good, I'm good. I'm
you're
not
good,
arguing
but
about it.
that's my mindset behind it.
Yep.
Not saying that it's right or wrong, but that's the
You know,
mindset.
a better bang for your buck here.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
And I
Okay.
think one of the earlier discussions with closing a school is the possibility that test scores will decline
Right.
for at least a year or so until everyone works the kinks out in the system. So this is to help not have
Yeah.
declining in test scores, less students in the classroom, more teachers.
I have a question about that. So our NCACC does county map books every year, and I kind of live by them. But I just wanted clarification on 2 numbers and see if that is something we can verify that this is accurate, because it was very concerning to me. 2024 map book was reflective of the 2022-2023 school year. It talks about 3rd grade reading proficiency. Gates County had 49%, and we were ranked at 37 in the state for 3rd grade reading proficiency. The following year, so 23-24 school year, Gates County went from 49% of 3rd grade reading proficiency to from 49 to 39.2. That's a 10% drop. We went from rank 37 in the state to rank 86 in the state for 3rd grade reading proficiency. So I was curious if we have any way to validate that and where this number might come from. If you could.
That would be a.
Check your dates for COVID and how long we were out of school before that 2nd grade got to the 3rd grade.
Well, I understand that, but my thing is this is reflective of across the state, and COVID happened internationally. So it should be pretty reflective across the state, not a 50-point drop in the rankings.
I think you also have to look at the dynamics of that grade level because
Right.
students with disabilities are included in that. So if you have a larger population of students with disabilities, your EC students, that number also accounts to that. So that is in your total score. I don't have it in front of me and I haven't looked at it, so I don't know that to be true.
Well, I mean, to me, this just verifies that we need the smaller classrooms to have the teachers that verify, but I was just curious, like, that was a 50, when I was looking through numbers, I'm a data person, and looking comparatively across the state, we dropped significantly compared to any other school district in the state. And that's concerning. COVID happened internationally. We can't claim COVID forever on that, unfortunately, because it happened everywhere. So I was just looking to see if we had any way to confirm or deny that or question it, or I was hoping we could say, oh, that's wrong, but it doesn't sound like it. Okay. All right, any other,
How many teachers did we have then in third grade? Do you know that, Madam Chair?
do I, right now? No, I could pull up the document and look from,
Yeah, I don't remember those dates. But that would be a good thing to check, if could be some validity to needing those 3 teachers rather than 2.
okay, I don't know how many there were. I'm just knowing that it was a concerning drop to go down 50 in rankings. All right,
Okay.
do we have any other questions on the projected K-5? If not, we're moving into the other budgets, which we kind of worked apart in the other,
Yep.
the other packet.
Go to the departmental package.
Yeah.
We can go back to capital outlay.
So if we, yeah, moving back to capital outlay, which is toward the end of that slide packet.
Got it. You ready?
All right, are we all there? I was giving them a second because it was farther back. We're on the capital outlay in the back, yeah.
Okay.
And you had,
Yeah, so, can we expound a little bit more as far as the HVAC replacements, as far as Central Middle School things?
Where's John?
Would be Mr.
is
Green.
Mr. Green here?
I think that's Mr. Green.
Yeah, he's coming up. Thank you, sir.
On the HVAC replacement for Central Middle School, the 6th grade portion of the Central Middle School is original 1998. There was 1998 6th grade portion was built so that the other 3 schools, Welcome, Gatesville, and T.S. Cooper, could consolidate K-5 at each one of those locations. Some of this equipment here is specified as needing replacement. That 25% is 28 years old. It's rooftop heat pump equipment that is all working, but being proactive, I think it's time to start working towards replacing that equipment along. So that was why that was one of the major requests there is, it's reaching the end of his life. 28 years is great, 25 years is probably the expected life of a air-to-air package unit, so that was the reason we were starting to work towards replacing some of that equipment.
Yeah, you're right in the sweet spot to be able to replace that now and not be a problem. But as far as we evaluate this, right, and I appreciate the breakdown, especially in this sheet right here. As far as in this packet, you break down that a little bit more and go into things. Definitely understand the repaving and what needs to be done at T.S. Cooper. Completely understand that. So if you were going down through this, understand the Chromebooks and where we are with that. So setting the Chromebooks aside, what's your number one thing out of this whole list right here?
Well, as I said, T.S. Cooper asphalt overlay, we were fortunate last year, DOT works with us some in the bus loop. So we did get some asphalt replaced this previous year, but the area back behind or beside the school at T.S. Cooper is where parents currently make a loop there. The principal, faculty and staff do a great job keeping vehicles out of the highway. But, the twisting and turning in the back there, there needs to be some additional asphalt added and overlay. That would be a big need. The trouble, and I've said this for years as we've come and given this budget proposal, ideally this scope of work gets done every year. Realistically, it takes a good part of that $200,000 to get through the year with unexpected problems or issues throughout the year. Mr. Harrell gets on me for this sometimes, but what we try to do is fix some things beginning of the year, but stay in a place with our budget, not knowing what the school year is going to bring in the way of air conditioning issues, heating issues, so that I'm not coming to him saying, like, I don't have money to make it through the year. I've overspent. So we try to be certainly aware of the fact that we don't overspend early on. We fix some things. We see, hopefully we make out well through the year, and then we fix some things in the spring with the remaining funds. But I can't come to you every year and say, yes, we're going to complete this chart. It's just not realistic. Because as I said, it takes a good part of that $200,000 to make it through the school year.
Yeah, and then as far as your budget and your yearly $200,000 that you need to be able just to do routine maintenance stuff that kind of comes up. Completely understand that. Not want to touch that at all. This is more about the capital outlay that the county's going to have to come out of its pocket with and say, here you go. Let's work on these handful of projects this year. Let's put that on the docket, all that kind of good stuff.
Right.
Trying to okay, what's the one that you're saying that I've got to have this, please don't cut it?
That's like asking a 10-year-old on their Christmas list what their favorite toy is.
Yeah,
Pick, Johnny, pick.
You know, that's the, there's not money other than some repair and renovation funds to really start. Originally, I think there's 13 units there that were used for 10 of them serve the classrooms for the 6th grade wing. One serves the cafeteria, one serves the kitchen. Now, that one has been upgraded, so I'll back up. I'd say it's 12. There's a serving line area, but most of that equipment's 28 years old.
How much money are you spending per year to kind of keep that stuff up and going?
We've been very fortunate. I say it's hard to stop trains. We've been pretty fortunate. I'm not saying that's the case today, but it's well made. It's been well made equipment. It's really served us well. But I think we're pushing the envelope on starting to change some of that equipment out.
Could we possibly say that let's table the HVAC equipment for this year, get it next year? We maybe can fund some additional monies on all the rest of the items that you have here. And then if something was to happen, we can come
always
back to us and
amend
say,
the
hey, we
budget,
really
yeah.
got to go do this. We tried to make it another year, but we just couldn't. We can make
Well,
it
and that's fair in the fact that having the mechanical background you have, it's not changing out a package unit. And of course, there's additional costs of bringing in a crane multiple times, but it's a 4 or 5 hour process. It's not like it's not like trying to go in a school and rip a thermal unit out of a ceiling. It's not as intense of a. And there again, there's some supplemental heat and things there with that heat pump to make do until as long as you got a fan and some supplemental heat, you can make do until the repairs. The air conditioning's a little different situation, but I mean, that's certainly as long as you all are aware that that's there.
Yeah.
We'll work through trying to keep things running best we can.
Okay.
Well, I got a little different take than you. I mean, you're on the right track, I think, but I mean, having just done a capital improvements budget, it's routine for me to have to prioritize. I'll give my county leadership a list, and I'll go from priority 1 down to 10 probably, and knowing that they're going to go to some line called the cut line, and they're going to fund no further. Danny's smiling because he's heard that terminology in the federal government. You work down to the cut line. And I would ask that you simply give us that list of priorities. If you think the HVAC is going to be your biggest chance of a big fail right away, you put that as number 1. But if you think your wastewater pump station, you're down to 1 of the 2 pumps is run, the other one could quit any time, and that's your number 1 priority, put that as number 1. And then that allows some type of prioritization of what needs to be funded. This is a year, I hate to say it, I want to make sure it's not perceived as, oh, this is a year where we can catch up and do a whole bunch of stuff, because the excuse of closing the school and everything else is going to cover for it. And I'm not saying that's the case, but the perception can be there that we're going to get healthy on everything this year because we've closed the school and we're having less funds. So I would ask that you simply prioritize these, and if it's the school board that needs to do it or your leadership has to propose a prioritization, you give us a prioritization of which of these is first to last. And since Chromebooks is in there, I mean, if that's your first, then everything after that, y'all should decide and tell us.
That was my question. So you want to pull Chromebooks out, and you want to prioritize the list other than Chromebooks?
Yeah,
I think it's 2 different things, yeah.
If we're being told that the Chromebooks is a reoccurring cost that needs to be done every year,
Yeah.
then that needs to be a part of the reoccurring budget that needs to be every year.
Yeah,
It needs to stop
I
being
agree.
one time.
Yeah,
If
because it's being
gonna be,
presented annually as a one-time deal instead of being worked into the budget. Yeah.
And quite
Makes
frankly,
sense.
again, what I've seen, and again, just my sole experience, you have a capital improvements budget if the school board believes in it, and if you get halfway through the year and they're realizing savings somewhere, you go back and ask for, hey, can you give me that extra money to take care of some of these things? And that's happened to me more than once as well, that you go and get those done if there's surplus or available funds by savings of some other means.
And it helps as well to get off, let's say, a 1962 boiler system at the Gates County High School. That when it blows up, it's going to take half of my capital outlay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sitting on, trying to be aware of that situation. There again, as I said, I try to not have to come to Mr. Harrell and say, you know what, we're not going to make it through the school year. Next thing you know, we're over here saying, hey, we're short of funds. So getting some projects like that accomplished last summer were really beneficial to the floor plan.
Yeah, not supposed to be any kind of slam on you. I hope you know that, yeah.
All right.
And my philosophy on those type of things is I'd rather have a tight budget, and then if something happens, we can always.
We have room to move.
I'm just,
Just as long as
Just
I
the way
don't
I'm wired.
hand slap one come across.
no.
Well, and
You come over here and say, "I told you so."
I appreciate you all saying, if you have a major mishap,
Yeah.
come to us. If something breaks down, come to us, because we've already had that discussion.
Right.
That's,
Right.
It's always better if you manage to a small budget and you try to get it into that small budget, then expanding it a little bit is not the end of the world. That's actually a good thing.
Yep. Okay, so that is that all we have for that? Down it. Commissioner Roundtree, Commissioner Craddock, I'm trying to make sure y'all get time to talk in here, because we've been.
Mine's gonna kind of happen
Okay.
all at one time.
All right, all gonna happen at one time, got you. All right, so we're moving by, all right, I think that was it for that part then. We're moving along. Is that right? Oh,
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, we gonna-
No, I thought
hold
you
on,
just
maybe
asked
a
for that
second.
page or two. I'm sorry.
I haven't,
No, I'm
let's
good with the
switch.
maintenance part.
We're good with the maintenance part. I was like, hold on.
Capital improvement.
I was gonna say,
Sorry.
now let's move to additional costs associated with consolidation, and I have one brief question just on that, because it says parking lot and freezer. I'm assuming parking lot for Gatesville is what is up in question. My question, and trust me, I'm at Gatesville a lot, y'all. Sometimes we parked out close to the street, I get it. But I know that in one of the presentations to you guys, it was mentioned about staff parking and the other parking lot in the back to allow for that. Is that still in conversation? I know that was mentioned at one point.
see, that is.
Restructuring of the parking. Yeah.
Still discussing on how the parking's gonna be done. Okay. Do we have any other questions on additional costs associated with consolidation?
The teacher stipends, what's that?
For them to move, like if they have to pack their classroom, they have to move their stuff, and they've asked, and as a ex-teacher over here, she understands, that's their home, that's
Yeah.
Oh, I
their
get it. I get it
stuff.
totally,
Yeah.
believe me. My
So
wife's a
that's
teacher, I
what-
get it.
That's what that's for, so we're not asking them, oh, you're on a 10-month contract, come move all your stuff for.
Well, and I will
3 days,
personally
etc.
say, if anybody needs help and I'm available, I am happy to come and help you pack classrooms and move. So reach out to those of us as well. I don't know who else can say they can do that, but I do have time during the week often, and I have a few little people that can come help as well over the summer if y'all need assistance moving. So, y'all are not in it alone.
And Mr. Forsythe, that's the key. They're 10-month employees. They're going to be packing we're talking not one school, we're talking 3 schools. Some teachers could be packing. This is their extra work days that we're going to allow them in the summertime. The teacher contract is over. I mean, I think it goes to June 5th or whatever it goes to. So we're going to allow them to finish in school, then come back to
What if they don't want, what if they don't want to?
But then
Then
also
we have to go
unpack.
in there and pack their stuff, and they won't be happy.
And given that, it's still not enough
I was gonna say, and what does
time,
this even break down to?
It-
Because this doesn't look like
but
enough.
It is not going to be enough. I
for-
can tell you, after retiring last year, after
Yeah.
31 years, it took me 3 weeks. And Mr. Harrell, close your ears about trade time. The problem with that is you can't take trade time,
Right.
if it were an option, on days that the students are there, because then you'd have to pay for somebody to be there. So it's
And
going to be
then you
very
have to pay for the sub
time-consuming.
as a teacher.
And I think just
Is
make
that
an
correct?
gesture that you could
Yeah.
give teachers something.
Okay.
We don't do
No,
that.
I don't
We don't do that.
Okay.
I just saw a look out of Mr.
That's all you
Harrell.
gotta see.
I got that exact same look one time when I was talking to my CFO about something, and she looked at me.
Don't tell me about coffee.
She told you to close your ears, okay?
We don't do that.
Good catch.
Okay, so we have teacher stipends, boxes obviously for moving trucks for moving, additional custodian staff. additional moving
So these are
equipment.
costs that
So
next year's budget will be removed.
Will be
Yeah,
removed.
one shot, one time.
Yeah, so these will be not part, these are an extra to the budget. So really the 3.1 minus 300s.
Is this included in that 3.1? 3.2?
They're not included.
Yeah, this is.
This is a breakaway.
This is
Wow.
above and beyond.
So this is,
One-time expense.
So you're
yeah,
not really asking for 3.1, you're asking for 3.4?
plus capital outlay, so.
You guys did ask for this.
No, I appreciate it, but, yeah,
we wanted.
we wanted it broken out.
I
Yeah.
did want to separate this out. It's not a part of the,
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't included in that.
It is not.
Okay.
It's not part of the normal reoccurring.
Yeah, no, that is appreciated. You were right, we did ask for that. Okay, we understand the budget potential risks. Any comments on that, or?
Yeah, the charter schools enrollment thing, I think that's a red herring. I'll be honest, I'm real serious about that. I think it's a red herring.
You gotta
Anybody's
go
gonna
to
come
state.
and claim a charter school here, and I called DCPI and asked them specifically about it, read everything they had on their webpage. And in order for somebody to come and want to start a charter school there, where are the students going to come from that are going to suddenly be pulled from us that go there?
I think they're talking enrollment to others, like we currently have
Well-
NEET, we currently have other things. That would increase the cost that we're having to pay out, like instead of 30,000, that number would increase. Not having a charter school come here, but if students are going out is how I interpret that.
That is correct.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
But we did have a charter school that applied for an application here in the county, but it did not go through.
well,
Yeah, there's one's failing, I guess, with
Okay.
some news, just last week, one in Huntersville, that they started and they're in debt and they're closing them up. So, I mean, just because somebody wants to go to charter school doesn't mean it'll function. So-
right.
Okay.
All right. Moving to, I'm trying to see what pages we're on. Are we moved to the next one, to the budget, future planning, money saving considerations? I'm gonna go future planning, and statute again does state that we should be coming together to make a 5-year plan. So we need to come to the table as soon as this budget is done and start with a 5-year plan collectively, because that is statute, that we do it together. So I know before it was presented that you guys would present us a 5-year plan, but if we're gonna go into general statutes, that's actually not how it's supposed to be done. We should be at the table with you. So
Yes.
let's work together on that after this budget. All right, the bottom line, any comments on that? It's just pretty basic, yes.
This is just a question that just
Yeah.
floated in my brain. When we start talking about the 5-year plan, is that something that, I don't know if committee is the right word to talk about, if, like a couple of commissioners, a couple of board members, and some
Instead of-
staff come together and maybe come up with a framework to carry back before
I
we all come
think
together?
that is very good in how to work, pair off and do things in a committee, subcommittee like that. But as long as it comes back to the
Yes,
board for actual
that we come
discussion,
back,
both
but
boards.
I think that would just keep it from being such a long meeting. If you have a small group to come up with some framework, some discussions to
Yeah.
come from each board, and then we can go back and have a.
Because
joint
that could
meeting.
also incorporate principals and different staff and.
Right,
Yeah, not
right.
just us, yeah. Okay. No, I agree, yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
All right. I know that we have some more questions coming in, so we've gone through both packets. I'm just gonna start here and work down and let them ask any remaining questions.
So are we,
Uh,
can we close
We
up?
have closed both of these. You might need to reopen them, but we'll start at Commissioner Craddock, Berryman, Roundtree, Forsythe, and then circle back to me here with any last questions. So Commissioner Craddock.
All right, so I enjoy being the eldest person on the board. But I used to be the one asking all the questions. So I'm a big picture kind of guy. So I'm gonna paint a picture in a minute. But I have a few questions first. So
Question.
everybody has different terminologies and different definitions unless everybody goes to Webster, okay? Fund balance. What is your definition of a fund balance?
Who you asking?
Yeah, who you asking?
Anybody.
Because every one of us has got a different answer.
Exactly, that's, so for you, what would be the fund balance?
$3 million and nobody touches it.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking what a great fund balance is.
My definition of a fund balance is the money you have that's unallocated in your account.
Like savings account, rainy day
Correct,
fund.
correct, and
Okay.
obviously, we don't have as much as we need. In my experience, 6 out of 8 years I've been doing this job, I put money back in the bank, so I want to get back to that as fast as possible.
Okay, all right.
we share the same goal.
Yes, yes. So for 24 and 25, what was our ending fund balance? You don't have to give me exact numbers, I'm just,
Or the ending fund balance at 24-25 was $775,129, but some of that was restricted. And so,
How much is restricted?
So-
Well, let me ask this way.
That's not-
How much do you have access to in case like something was to happen, you need to spend this?
Boiler blows up at the high school.
right now, excuse me, what'd you say?
I said, your
The boiler
maintenance
at the high
director said if the boiler explodes at the high school,
It's a good chance we might be over here talking to you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, right now, this year, I had budgeted 200,000, as you all know, which left me roughly around 108.
okay. All right, I was
Which is
just,
way too low for anybody to have in the fund balance. And you will not get an argument from me, I know it's way too low.
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was just going off of the audit.
Right.
So ending in June 30th, 2025, the district general fund had reported a decrease in fund balance of $550,288. I'm just saying that.
Right, and they knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And of course, from my point of view, you lose revenue that fast. I realized real quick that I was one building too many
But
to the year.
But we know where all that money went.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir. That money went to fill a hole for staffing, that, we'd lost $500,000 that particular year, and we continue to lose, this year we're projected to lose $434,000.
Okay.
So it's not a good number when you're losing another one.
Okay.
Is there any hope as far as on the state side that some of that money may be coming back as far, because they keep talking about, they're gonna raise, pay for the teachers.
We got to have a budget first.
Yeah.
Last year's.
The only thing they've done, I've had one pot of money where I think they funded maybe 95%. Everything else has been fully allotted. So I haven't heard anything other than the weighted formula that they talked about with BC. They eventually may go to, which would help everybody who is in the shape that we're in. But other than that, the state is very straightforward, and most of my pots of money revolve around your ADM.
Okay. All right. So y'all come to us, and I'm just going to use rough numbers, $3.1 million for 26, 27. 25, 26, if I'm not mistaken, we funded 2.9, around that number, and then we added some additional into it. Okay. So option 3 on one of y'all slides that y'all had at one of your school board meetings, is we're going to roughly save around $840,000 shutting down Buckland School. Projection is 50 students less this year, so that equates to around $100,000. Then we got
Mr. Craddock,
tackled
what do you mean $100,000?
50 students at $2,000 a student.
$10,000
$10,000. So we're losing $500,000 this year.
I'm talking about just from county.
Correct.
Okay.
Just from county. I ain't worried about the state.
Give out count state.
I wish I had that luxury.
Yeah. And then moving expenses around 325. All right. So for 2025, 2026, we funded 2.9. Fund balance decreased by $553,288. Then we added $130K for child nutrition, which was one time, $125K or 120, numbers could be up, for Chromebooks. So that would have put your budget for last year at $3.7 million. All right, for 2026 and 2027, we've asked for 3.198. Fund balance carried over plus 200,000, so it's 3.398. Which, if you subtract this year's from last year's, that's $310,000 short, just off of some rough calculations. So kind of what I was looking at and expecting this year was the fund balances, well, not fund balance, but what we funded this year is based off of about what we funded last year, 2.9. School closing, you deduct 840,000 out of that. 50 less students for us, $100,000, so $325,000. So that would put, in my mind, $2,285,000. And I understand that next year there could be a decrease in state fund balance around $500,000, so we'll have to deal with that next year. So last year, I believe we took a short break in our meeting. I'm trying to remember, they all run together, been sitting up here for 5 years. Wish list, actual. I wish to get all this, most likely it's not gonna happen. What is your actual bottom dollar that you need to run our school? The answer I got last year was, if you don't ask for it, you won't get it. That's true, but that's the wrong answer. We need to know actual dollars, what we're saving, what we're doing to save, because it's not gonna do anything but get worse from the state. Think we'll ever get the state funded back? Probably not. Probably not. Once they take it away, most likely they're not gonna get it back. And then the other question I had, I know we used $553,000 out of the fund balance shortfalls on teacher salaries. And then a couple of years ago, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse or anything, but we did fund another $828,000 to get us out of the shortfall. That 553 part of that 828, or have we already spent that too?
Some of that is that was the 828, yes, sir.
And that's what I figured. That's what I figured. So I get it. The wish list, nice to have. Had all the money in the world. I give you every bit of it you need. But like I said at the beginning, you got to look out for the students. You got to look out for our constituents. It's a very narrow line. You get the mushroom together just perfect. Make it all work. And we're gonna make it work. We always do, we always have. But we got to figure out how to get our rainy day fund balance back where it needs to be. And I am 100% with Berryman and Dave on what they want. They want the top 10. I'm a maintenance person myself. I had to hit that cut line today. We need to know what priorities are. We need to know about it. That way, if we don't, we can't fund it this year, if something catastrophic happens. There's no such thing as finding money. William's pretty good at moving some stuff around. And part of the maintenance item is this chair. I'm still listening. So, thank y'all for the time you put in this, but I'll go back to what I said last year. Bring me what you need, not what you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Berryman, I'm going to say after we go to, if your board has anything to respond, prepare for that too.
I agree, Commissioner Craddock. I'm not going to go through all that. I think you summed it up pretty well. It is, at the end of the day, it's about what you actually need as a school system to function. And I see a lot of things that's in the budgets where, you really need it in a way, but do you need all of it? Can you cut a little bit here and there, cut a little bit here and there, and next thing you know, you're talking about real money. I understand as far as computer needs and those type of things like that and how it is reoccurring costs. And if it is reoccurring costs, let's put it in the budget as a reoccurring cost of things that you need to make happen. I'm not going to labor on the budget anymore because I think we beat that horse pretty hard. I would like to ask, because this is, kind of been floating around in our discussions and where I have a better understanding of this, but in the grant application that was put forth by Mr. Williams, Dr. Williams, excuse me. Where's the land that was donated?
You'd have to ask Mr. Ray Felton.
Okay.
He had and I think he came to the county commissioners before your time and said he had some land that was available, and there was no interest.
Okay, good. All right, so would that land be like central to the county type of thing? So we can, 'cause I'm interested because if we're surely thinking about building a new school 5-year plan type of thing, be interested to see what that is and see if would be a better location than what the county has offered up as far as the land that's available across the road from the high school.
Yeah.
So, speak on that a minute. Mr. Felton did bring us a land plat, whatever, and it was behind the school. Is that the one?
Right to the right of the school, high school.
But it was for us to purchase, not donate.
Okay,
Not a
so
donation.
it's not a donation.
It was not a donation.
Okay.
It was,
That's why I was trying to figure out, is nobody knew where the donated land was at, and I hadn't seen it in a while, so I figured
To
it
attract.
it was about $10,000 on it.
yeah. Okay,
But he had a whale of a deal, that's what he told me at the time.
okay, all right, but I mean, it was put in the
Application
the
package.
application that it was a donated land, that's why I was like, well, this is land that's been donated to the school system, that's great, and I'm just kind of curious where that was at, so it is no donated land anywhere. All right.
I don't know if Mr. Felton still has that, option or
already been
anything.
sold.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's already been sold.
Okay. What about as far as, there was a committee that was formed for the new schools that was referred to in the application? Who's on this committee?
I don't understand. Say that again.
In your grant application, it
Yeah.
said that there was a committee that was formed to review the needs of the new school.
No,
Is there, so there is no formal committee?
I don't think so.
Because, I mean, if it is, if they've done some work, then it'd be nice to be able to start from where they're at if we're planning on going down this road. So it'd be good to reconstitute some of those things.
Usually every grant that I've written since the first signature by Linda Hoffler, which we received either 5 or 6 grants, the committees, me and Mr. Green and the Board of Education.
Okay. All right, yeah, because we were all kind of curious about who was on this.
Well, yeah,
committee.
we'd ask about somebody coming back and telling us, because our understanding was that grant was all packaged up, ready to go, and it just didn't get signed for some reason. But now it sounds like it wasn't remotely worked. I mean, I would
Wasn't
have
accurate
assumed you would
information, yeah.
have procured the land and made sure that was a fixed deal. I mean, so, sounds like that didn't really happen. That application was minimally worked. But it was sold as publicly as it was almost done, the board just didn't vote on it. I mean, those are the words
Yep.
that were used.
I'm gonna let you
I
finish
think the
yours.
application would have worked if everybody had signed.
Okay.
Without
We'll
the
conclude this.
donation.
I'm gonna let him finish up and we'll come
All right.
down.
But you couldn't sign it because, this is more for Dr. Williams, but you couldn't sign it because there's false information that's in it. Because there is no donated land, there was no committee that was ever formed or anything. All right,
So what are
that's
you
all I gotta
saying?
say.
Okay.
I just asked him, so what are you saying exactly?
My point is that you sent that document saying that the county manager didn't refuse to sign it. He never saw it. But you got information in it that's totally false.
County manager don't sign about the grant.
Well, the package was disingenuous then, it's just an easy way to say it.
Well, I'm not gonna argue with you.
I know you're not,
Yeah.
no.
I'm just trying to do everything that I've done to help the schools and help the county with capital outlay.
All right.
And Mr. Green and I have been very successful with that.
You see, we're done. Move down. Commissioner Roundtree.
Everything seemed to be meticulously covered, and I don't have no questions at this current time. I will review the proposal, and I appreciate all the dialogue. I think pretty much the questions have been, asked, and I'm gonna further review it, and
Yeah.
thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Forsythe?
All right, sorry, I'm not even close to done. I'd like a flat-out question. How many billets will be eliminated, billets, not positions, not people, how many billets will be eliminated with the closure of Buckland School, as y'all assess it? Straightforward.
I don't understand what you're asking.
You're closing a school that has a K through 5.
Right,
2 teachers per grade.
okay.
There's 12 teachers principal, administrative staff, custodian, et cetera, I can get up real quickly 17. Now, y'all have argued that, I think pretty successful, at least K through third, that you need to keep an extra teacher from each of those. So what's the net savings in the number of billets? And to add to that, just to clarify, I talk about what's called the Sweet Five. People have heard me talk about our county, the 2 counties that are directly smaller than us, the 2 counties that are directly larger than us. Our central office has 10 managers in it, total of, 18 people working in the central office. All the other schools, the 2 bigger than us, 2 smaller than us, the most of them have, which is Camden, which has 17. The others have 11, 13, 15 totals respectively. Seems like our central office is well-staffed, and now we're cutting back a school. And the ones that's less, I guess Washington, which is closest to us, they've reduced down to 3 schools. They've reduced down to 15 central office staff. So I guess I'm asking in total, between the number of positions at the school that are going to be gone potentially and potential reduction in size of the central office, do y'all have a number? Have y'all looked at that? Have you got an evaluation of that? Because what comes in next, along with that study I asked you about staffing savings that, the state requires you to do as part of a closure, is how's the vetting process go? Fully certified teachers, are they first priority? What are you doing to keep those? What's next to the teachers that are given temporary credentials to try and say they're good for 2 years, but they get extended over and over and over again? What's the process? How's that work out? There's a lot of folks out there right now, I'm sure there are teachers that have been asked, hey, where is your preference to be moved to or whatever? And the good teachers, my experience with RIFs in the federal government is we lose the best people first. The ones that are say, hey, I'm a low-paid person, I might potentially go. They're already getting recruited by other counties right now because we haven't told them their job is safe. And to me, it sounds like we haven't done the job of saying, hey, here's what it's going to look like when we're done. And we got teachers approaching in the school year that they're not going to be working this summer because they might be working somewhere else. And we might lose the good ones and be stuck with the less good ones. So that's a rhetorical question. I'd love to see the numbers and actual summary that says what's going on, who's being lost, what's the numbers, what's the savings. I'm hoping you aren't saying, oh, the numbers stay exactly the same because according to the DCPI page, anybody in our neighborhood, we're already overstaffed before we even cut the schools. So I'm not looking for an answer now. I think I'd love to see that. And again, the next part comes to the information we asked for earlier about the stipends. Kind of the elephant on the table here is we've talked about the superintendent gets a $64,000 stipend. I know the HR director gets one. Do y'all have that? We've asked for that. It sounds like we don't want to give that up publicly, but I think it's on the website. But HR director gets one, the nutrition director gets one, student services get ones. How much is the average stipend that teachers get, an average teacher gets a year? Does anybody know? Do you know, superintendent?
No.
You don't know what any of your teachers get as a standard stipend?
The supplement that teachers get, they get a supplement in December and they get one in June. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I believe
Right, but you're talking about 2 different things, Mr. Forsythe.
Yeah.
Supplements and stipends are 2 different things.
Okay. So
Supplements are recurring every year. Stipends are additional duties, but that's a relative
Okay.
term because some teachers may be doing something maybe 6
do
months to a
teachers,
year.
any teachers get stipends? They just get
Yes,
their,
they do.
Yeah.
But
How
yes,
much are they?
Multiple ones, but I
so how
can't-
much are they? Are
That's a
they
relative
3,000?
term, too.
Well,
They-
that's
they
my
use
point is I'm
something-
trying to draw a focus on is that if we got some teachers that are getting stipends for $2,000 or $3,000, he's getting $64,000, she's getting $50,000, somebody else is getting $35,000. But our teachers, the critical people that are potentially leaving and pissed off and we're not treating very well, are getting no stipends or occasionally some of them get them.
I'll speak for teachers for the local supplement last year was $1,100.
Yes.
I believe that came from the county.
It did.
And we were appreciative of that because that increased by $500 and that was paid twice a year, maybe December and our last paycheck. I can also briefly speak to stipends. Just an example, when I served as an AIG person at my school, I
Right.
received a small monthly stipend.
Do you
When
ma-
I was a teacher mentor, I received a small monthly stipend, but greatly appreciated.
How much was it? You're a school board member sharing that now, past history, it's a matter of record.
Right. Don't quote me on this because it's been a while, but
Yeah.
maybe $200 a month.
Right, right.
I'm thinking.
$200 for the
$200
teachers,
a month.
$64,000. Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Don't have an answer on number of billets that could potentially be saved, if any. Central office is oversized. Our school system, not to pick on the teachers. I know what teachers go through, as my wife's one, works her tail off, works on Sunday evenings doing lesson plans and can't go and do things with us many times because she's staying at home. But I've seen the decline of this school system over the last decade and a half. My two oldest daughters, one's 40, one's 38, when they went to Gates County Schools, it was great. My oldest daughter got her doctorate, I'm proud of her. The other one's a nurse, respiratory therapist. And quite honestly, the schools now compared to then are terrible. And I'll be honest with you, the correlation goes with our current superintendent. Do you take any responsibility in the decline of our school systems over the last decade or more?
I totally disagree with you. I think we have a great school system. We have a good school board, we've got good principals, we've got good teachers, we have excellent students, we provide really good services, we provide an excellent breakfast and a nice lunch. We do everything we can to help students become better for the next day, next week, next month, next year. So how you think about something is the way you think about something. But the way I see it, we're doing a really good job as Gates County Schools. We have students in other counties, Hertford County, Clemens, they want to come to Gates County Schools and come to school because this is a good place to be. I had a teacher at Buckland said, I am so glad that I got out of this other school because I wanted to be here. So your comment's one thing, I don't see that, and you're welcome your comment, but I disagree.
So our school scores over the last decade, you take no responsibility for those.
Do you take any responsibility for it, for not providing us funding?
I haven't been in this office for 10 and a half, 13, 15 years.
Okay, then.
Okay.
I'm not
How about
gonna argue.
I'm just asking if you're taking responsibility, not arguing. So what about the financial calamities
I
of
don't think that we're
COVID?
here to bash one another. I think we're here for the school system and to explain what our needs are. Whatever we do is never going to satisfy y'all. I'm sorry. That's how I feel.
You're right. You're right.
You're right.
You're right. I'll be honest with you, because I know the action that needs to be taken for not doing the good job. I know what that action would be in my mind. So
You know,
that's all
I
I've got. That's all I've got. Yeah.
And also I hear the same thing about the county too, about the leadership too as well, Mr. Forsythe.
Yeah. I have.
Okay.
I mean, what's on your side of the road and what's on my side of the road,
Yeah.
I hear things too
Okay.
as well.
Well,
I'm going to go to Mr.
good.
Sauer, see if you have anything, because we've not gone to county manager. He has, and if he had any comments before I close the turn.
Well, I have a short list. And I want to make sure that I have written down my favorite quote of the night that school board member Riddick shared. And let me try this.
Oh, God.
Please, it's good. If I understood the statement, it's we are the pivot point between financial resources and student performance. Is that fairly close?
Yes.
And I'm not pointing fingers either way. That pivot point's right here in the middle. I mean, this is a challenge that we have in all 100 counties. And as elected officials, you all are to be commended for sticking with this meeting and asking the questions, because this is what you're all authorized and empowered to do. When you're one of the oldest rats in the barn, you remember the fact that our legislature, trying to do the right thing to build an economy, to recruit industry, to recover from NAFTA, they eliminated revenue from county governments. We used to have an inventory tax. We used to have an intangible tax on investments. And the General Assembly eliminated that, trying to be a pro-business state, which they have achieved. Simultaneous with that, though, there was a shift in the responsibilities for school operations, where it used to be the county just built the building, the state paid for everything. Well, when they cut that revenue from the counties, they also said, well, the state's not going to pay for school utilities, school custodians, school transportation, so those costs had to be absorbed by that appropriation that the county provides to the schools. So we've got a dynamic there that was set in the early 90s that just, growing with significant magnitude. Our number from Dominion is that electricity is going to go up about 9%. There's nothing we can do to stop that. But that just puts one more torque on the wrench that makes this conversation more difficult, because it's hard to reduce cost when your utility expenses are going to go north and you're using 28-year-old HVAC systems. I mean, the dynamic we have is a problem with parenting. And the parenting is because the state is the parent. We are not the parent. The parent sets the rules. We need to abide by the rules. And sometimes the only way for us to get a change in the parents' rules is if we can get the attention of the parents. That's our legislators. We're all getting ready to go talk to the legislators in a few weeks. And we've got a list. I never saw a cut line, but we have a list of things we'd like our parents to provide for us in Gates County. But we need to have a serious talk with those parents, because right now they're looking to put a cap on property taxes. Heaven forbid if they try to make us be like California and have a Prop 13 where the voters can vote on the tax. Last year, we made it through revaluation. The board set a target. We were really trying to hit that revenue neutral, and the compromise was to go 1 penny above. But they still cut the tax rate 17 cents, and we did not have that much gain in value. When you hear what Chowan's going through right next door, and those are all market forces. But what the General Assembly is about to say is they don't trust us at the local level to make the right decision faced with these market factors. And I think there needs to be some screaming at this level to say to our parents that we elected. You know, they used to say, you don't get to choose your family. Well, in this relationship, you do get to choose your family, because you vote for them every 2 years. Well, if they're successful, they're fixing to really torque that vice a whole lot tighter. And again, we've got to have a dialogue with the folks at the state level to let us keep the tools that we have. The other one I've learned about recently is they want to eliminate the 2% sales tax on food. Sounds great. That's a financial hit for the county. I don't know what the number is, but every county manager that looks at sales tax this time of year is thinking about that. The Board of Commissioners here in Gates County just a few weeks ago adopted a resolution, sent it to Raleigh saying, we don't support the property tax cap. I'm hoping there will be listening ears. I'm hoping when you bump into our legislators, you'll share your thoughts, share your concerns, and maybe our voice will work. I don't know what the solution is, but it's tough. I mentioned the electricity going up 9%. We've got employer retirement contributions for our staff. And I think the percentages that the schools put in is much higher at the local level than the county, but all of them are going up. That's one of those non-controllable things. We've got health insurance and William, I don't remember what the health insurance was, at 9% or 16? 9% on health insurance. I don't know what yours is looking at. And then we received an email the other day telling us that, and this comes with a question, Steve, where do you all obtain your property and liability insurance for the schools?
The Department of North.
DOI? Well, DOI has just issued an edict that's really interesting, saying that DOI will not provide coverage unless the Board of Education owns the school. Well, in the dynamic we have with the financing on the high school loan, financing on the central school loan, you use the best tool available, and to get the best interest rate, the financial institutions required that the holder of the note, the Gates County Board of Commissioners and the taxpayers, have to also have the asset. So the properties are held in the name of the note holder, the county. There's a long-term lease agreement. At the end of the debt service, when that note is retired, the agreement in the document states the title then switches to the school system. Well, with what DOI is doing, that's another one of our parents up there. They're about to make a switch that may just shift the cost. I don't know what you pay for property insurance, but that may come to us on this side. And again, and what do? Do we take that out of their school current expense? No. I mean, as owners of the property, we're gonna have to figure out how to pay that. Meanwhile, we need to be in Raleigh banging on those doors at, I guess it's Mike Caus's office, the head of,
Right.
there are some things coming down the path that are really gonna smack us. And we need to be aware of that. And there are no easy solutions. And I just really like that pivot point discussion, because it is so true. But I do have a question. What is the lowest hourly rate that the school system pays any of its employees? And I don't mean like a student that helps out in the office.
$15.
Oh, it is 15? Okay, because that's basically the floor that we've established in Gates County. Well, if y'all, I think you've had a tough time, you ought to ride with these guys every meeting when they're in budget, because they keep digging. I'm guys and lady, I'm sorry.
It's okay, guys, it's inclusive.
But one of the things that was revealed to us was one of the agencies that's near and dear to the people in this community, the County Commissioners Fund in a regional partnership, we've got part-time employees getting paid $8 and $9 an hour. That's not much value even when gas was only $3 a gallon, that's not much.
Yeah.
And I really think we need a gut check to say,
Yeah.
is that fair? Is that equitable? I mean, those are political, nasty words, but think about it. If that was your spouse, your sister, your brother, trying to help pay for daycare, trying to help pay for groceries, $8 or $9 an hour, I think we need to have a conversation about, is that something we try to tackle? Is that something we'll just push that down the road because we got to focus on schools, because that's so, but there are some real tough issues out there. I really like this discussion about the multi-year planning. What do you need for technology going out 5 years? What do you need for the HVAC component? What do we need for security? Now, the sheriff comes to see me, he's still awake, aren't you, Rick? The sheriff comes to see me
Wind it down.
almost every day with a kind of a report about what's happening in Gates County. And in every week, there's something going on in the schools. And it may be nothing you can control, but if that person shows up in your parking lot and they've got an illegal weapon or whatever other item, that's something so now we've got to think about the technology and the surveillance and the, so we've got to be planning on all those levels, that Chromebook and technology, the HVAC, the building maintenance, because there are, and again, this is not a slam on Gates County, because it happens everywhere. The county commissioners get stuck in that pivot point, and you cut maintenance, you cut capital outlay, because, it's tough being on this side too. I wish y'all could just trade for 12 months, and I guarantee you'd want to go back, because it's not fun. But I want to mention an opportunity that you're going to hear about real soon, May 7th, 6 o'clock at the Mill Pond. The board is going to be hosting an information meeting about data centers. And the Board of Commissioners has already said, we've put a halt, there's a moratorium for a 12-month period to learn, to make good decisions, and figure out what we want to do. There's a lot of information out there, and they're trying to get the best folks in possible. And I think we're going to be sending out some invitations to the town council, to the planning board, the commissioners, the elected school board, to figure out, is there any benefit to those? Because there are some, our tax base, even after revaluation, is less than $1.5 billion a year. So you divide that by 100, multiply it by our tax rate of 67 cents, and you can figure out what we have to work with locally, and it's not much. Well, when I was, as we used to say, conversating with my colleague in Chowan County, Kevin Howard, these new windmills that have popped up, and whether you like them or hate them, that's going to add $1.5 billion to their tax base. Once it's all paid out and to the base, the value, the taxable value, they're going to have more in windmill value than we have in everything in Gates County. Well, the dollar amounts for investments on data centers is a lot more than those windmills. And they are looking for places to put them. I don't know that this is the place to put it, but the board, again, this year recently took a tour to visit some of the local farmers. And I think now in the 2 years, we've visited a total of 5 or 6 farms.
6, I believe.
And we always hear about taxes. And we always hear about the fact that a farmer that owns a combine or a large tractor or a harvester might have a piece of machinery that we're taxing at a value of $1 million. And they always want to pull me aside and say, Mr. County Manager, there's not one other citizen in Gates County that lives in a house that's paying as much in taxes in 10 years as I pay in 1 year. Well, unless the state's going to change the Machinery Act rather than take away your ability to set the tax rate, something like a data center might be a way to have some value that you would be in a position to lower a tax rate and maybe really protect those farmers that are drowning in all the other costs. Because we can't help them on tariffs. We can't help them on the price of gas. But if there was some strategy where we could try to look at it, just explore the options. So if you're available on May 7th, is it May 6th? It's the Wednesday.
May 6th.
I'm sorry, thank you, May 6th. So it's Wednesday, May 6th at 6 o'clock at the Mill Pond. There's a developer it's Kelly Bowers. She was the economic developer for Hertford County that helped bring Nucor and helped bring the US Forge rings that's coming in. And again, their tax base is exploding over there in Hertford. And we want to protect our rural way of life. We want to protect not having to just move in all those people from Virginia and Chesapeake and wherever they come from. And one of the ways to help pay the bills is maybe find somebody else who can pay the bill, but it's not going to draw a lot of people here. I mean, it is a dynamic, it's a pivot point, and it's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. I mean, when you look at the price of an HVAC unit, you look at the price of a pickup truck. I mean, it's just crazy. But these hard decisions, these hard discussions are so necessary, and they're tough. And we just got to work through them. And I'm glad we didn't do 14 hours, but I'm so thankful that y'all have stayed in the room and kept talking, because this stuff is tough. And we're better off than many other. Today I was with the managers in this region for the first time in 2 years as a group, and one of your Sweet Five, Washington County, was there, and he and I were comparing notes. A penny on their tax rate right now is generating $103,000. We're generating about $136,000, $140,000. So we're a whole lot better off than that. And they're scrambling for ways to pay for sheriff, EMS, schools. I mean, it's a tough road everywhere in northeastern North Carolina. And we just got to find a way to work together. And if we can't regionalize some things, we really need to work together well in our own home. So that's all I got.
Well, I'm going to kick off by saying I'm going to be the hardest sell in this county on data centers, for one. Putting that on record.
Well, the tax rate.
But you only need 3 of 5. So, yeah, it's due diligence is what we're doing. We moratorium so we could learn more, and that's that's what my intent is, to learn more, like we had said. But I'm going to be a hard sell, and I'm comfortable saying that out loud. So my comments, I know it felt incredibly harsh, a lot of this tonight. Accountability hurts. Transparency is hard when things may have been either misrepresented, misinterpreted, anything. But what I would personally like to see going forward is the hard cuts. And I say that in saying we're talking budget. Every time shortfalls have happened, starting with when we were talking 23, this time in 2023, because I was in the room pre-graduation. So a few weeks later in the year, we were talking about cuts, but the people that were discussing cutting their salaries were our maintenance and our hourly staff. We were talking about cutting them back to 32 hours instead of their 40. That's a big pay cut per year. We're not talking about cutting those that have made the decisions that put us in this place. We're talking about cutting the people at the bottom, so to speak, of this, and hurting them further. They're not being compensated for what they're doing already. And personally, if I'm the one that is making that, I'm going to do what I've done. I'm going to cut something on myself. I'm going to say, okay, something here has to change. You know, looking at the board, and this is where I challenge you, looking at the board, if we're going back year by year and the only solution is let's cut part-time this, let's cut part-time that, let's cut custodian hours, let's do this, let's do that. But the same people are making those decisions, are getting pay increases after pay increases after pay increases, then we have a problem. We don't cut part-time staff from 40 to 32 because you're not going to have a part-time staff. They're going to leave because somebody will pay them for 40. Mr. Green should not have to be concerned about his staff going elsewhere because we're talking about cutting down to 32 hours. Granted that I haven't heard that since 2023 necessarily, but that's what it seems we keep getting presented when a shortfall comes out. And that's where our buy-in comes, is we're like, no, we're kicking in because we want to help those and we want to protect those. Those jobs are not, or should not be at risk. What needs to happen is the ones that are making these shortfalls happen every year, those are the ones you replace. Those are the ones you cut. Those are the things that you do to make a difference going forward. You don't cut the people that have no say in it. You cut the people that are presenting you the wrong. And that's where the accountability comes from. That's where it comes with harsh. If I'm the person that's doing it, I expect, if I'm doing something up here that is not in line with what I was elected to do, I guarantee you constituents are going to come to me and say something. And I guarantee you I would not get a seat up here again. Salaried positions should not be allowed to continue if they are continually doing things that are hurting your operation, your organization, your business. That is all we're asking for, is accountability, transparency, and the painful cuts where necessary. The painful cuts that will actually make a difference and not put us back in these same seats next year having these same conversations, because it's been 3 years in a row. I keep saying we're going to move past and not bring up 2023, 2024, 2025, all this. It has to happen because it keeps happening. We can't quit bringing them up until it stops happening. And that's where I'm at on all of it. I'm also going to put out there, again, we have offered repeatedly our meeting space for you guys. We are able to get AV up. We are able to do it. It's going to help Mr. Smith from having to tote all of these things around from school to school to school to completely just wear on him and wear on his equipment to consistently move and have to set up at different schools for his meetings. We have offered you a space that has a table, that has AV to train on how to do that. It would be a much more comfortable situation, I would think, for him. We're talking about valuing our staff. Let's make some jobs easier. Make the hard decisions. Make some smart decisions. Value our staff. Cut the ones that are repeatedly making the budgets that aren't working, and compensate the ones that are being put down year after year appropriately so that we can be the school system we were before. That is all that I have. So yeah, that's my line. Were there any comments from your side? Because we just said a whole lot.
I'm
I have
just,
a lot that I can say, but I'm not.
I'm tired.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings. You're not gonna offend me.
I'm just tired.
Just tired.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Tired
tired.
too.
I mean,
get it.
we just, huh?
Okay.
No, not tonight, not tonight,
All
sweetheart.
right. Yeah. Well, if we're tired and we're done, if we can entertain a motion to adjourn on our end.
Thank you all,
Motion to
thank you
adjourn.
all for having
Second.
us.
Okay. Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor of adjournment? We are adjourned. Turn it over to
Board
them.
members, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor, wait a minute, do you have a second?
I'll make a second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Sally had to,
Thank you all.
Sally had to
Yeah.
bug out.
I know
to
she
get back
had
up
to, yeah.
She had to get back. She texted me and said, I have to go back up to the hospital to close this, because I was over.